A touch too. Yeah, man. Different sides.
I don't love you anymore.
5, 4, 3. We'll do it live. Okay. No, we'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
All right, y'all. You know what time it is. Buckle up, buttercups, and keep your headlights low. Tonight, the back roads are darker, the air is heavy, and every sound's got a story behind it. I'm your host, Chris Dollard. Riding shotgun with me, as always, good friend and co-host, Willie Leach.
Howdy ho, y'all.
But this ain't your average cruise through Texas back roads. Tonight, we've got a special guest riding with us, bringing tales from the shadows that'll raise the hair on your neck.
Hey, folks.
Hey, y'all.
How y'all doing? Guess what? This is Halloween week coming up.
So light the fire, pour a cold one, and don't wander too far from the glow. Because out here on the back roads, not every passenger is alive. This is Back Road Banner, the Halloween special.
And it's Wild Bill, y'all.
Yeah,
no.
Wild Bill.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
y'all probably listened to his that one episode we had. Yeah.
Wild Bill's got some good Ozark stories for us. Some creepy woods stories. Some stories from down here in good old Texas, don't you, Dad?
Yeah,
Oh, man, I know he's got them.
I know we've been waiting for this one. I know after that last episode we did with him, he was, even after we're done recording, he was already, 30 minutes in telling us the other stories?
How long were we there? Probably another hour.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
We
Probably.
We was going to quite a while there.
Yeah, we were.
Oh, we're all
Well,
like, Dad, like, save it for the next one, man. Like,
It's a pretty good one, ain't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And of course, Richter was with us, and now he ain't here.
damn you, Richter.
Rector, he did. Yeah, he's not with us anymore.
This is his line. You don't love us anymore.
Yeah, right? I don't love you anymore. Something like that.
Yeah, it was a Travis Tritt song.
Yes, that's right. Hey, Richter did it better than I did. I'm sorry.
Me too.
Oh, man.
Sound like the mix
man.
of Fergie and Jesus. when he
Right.
sang it.
That's a mixture there, ain't it?
Oh, man. Yep. So usually we start the show with a little warm-up questions, some quick-fire questions. So I'm going to go ahead and start us off with, since it's our Halloween special, what's your go-to Halloween candy and which one deserves to stay in the bag?
Oh, man. My go-to candy fillers would be Snickers.
There you go.
Got to be Snickers, man. The one to stay in the bag, Baby Ruth.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh. So, wait, my go-to and one to stay in the bag?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean by stay in the bag?
Yeah,
Exactly?
you're not eating it.
Oh, I'm not feeling it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got a little easier
like
for me.
a Milky Way or something.
I get you.
An easy one for me. So, Crunch.
Really?
Little
Oh, wait,
little mini Crunch bars.
Your to-go bar?
That's
or-
my to-go.
Okay.
That's my to-go.
Okay.
What's staying in the bag, do whatever the hell those little like orange and like black wrappered candy. You know what I'm talking about? They're like round.
Yeah, that's peanut butter, ain't it?
Is that what it's supposed
Yeah,
to be?
they got peanut butter there.
Dude, they're-
Oh, yeah.
they're just like
They're-
this
they're the orange,
bland.
Yeah.
You got a half black and a half orange wrapper, you know, man.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they're usually solid. They're like solid orange, solid black.
Well, I've seen them half and half, you know.
Yeah, I've even seen like solid white.
Of course, that's
Like,
back when I was a kid, probably.
man, like
You talking about like taffy?
I guess they're maybe a type of taffy. I don't know.
Tell you what, boy.
I saw a meme about them the other day too, and I was like, "Oh, those things! Oh, that's all that would be left in like
Yeah,
the candy thing when
if
you're
you
done
remember,
with it."
If you remember, son, that was peanut butter. I'll tell you what it tasted like. You ever eat oh man, what's that candy?
It had a taffy like texture to it. It
Did
did.
you ever eat a bit old honey?
Yes.
It tastes like that.
Oh,
sort of.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Maybe not quite as sweet.
Yeah. It kind of puts you in mind of a bit old honey. and in the middle, it had like, I guess peanuts, wasn't it? You know,
No, the one I'm talking about had
so.
nothing in it. It was
really?
just
Yeah.
like that's all it
It was
was.
like
It
a
was
taffy almost.
yeah, it's just like a little taffy
real
thing.
hard to chew, man. You know, stick to your teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
These did too. Yep.
That sucker will stick to your teeth, man.
All right. My next question is: would you rather fight off one zombie or 10 angry scarecrows?
Let's see.
10 angry scarecrows.
Yeah.
Let's do one zombie.
Dude, I'm gonna go scarecrows because at least I don't think I'll get infected. Like some Resident Evil type shit. Like
Get away from me, man.
brains.
Oh. All right, let me see. What's a good one? Which horror movie character do you think you could actually take in a fight?
Oh,
That's a good one.
That's a good one there,
that's
man.
a real good one.
That's a good one. Which horror movie character could I take in a fight?
I definitely wouldn't take Freddy.
No,
Freddy's out the question for me.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, he cut you too bad. Freddy
Yeah.
got
Yeah,
them
that's
knives,
true.
yeah.
You got
Well,
the
I don't know.
knives.
I don't really sleep that much anyway. So
Well, it's either Freddy coming at you with his little hand like finger knives,
Yeah,
or
little
it's
finger knives,
Leatherface coming at you with a chainsaw. I think I'd rather get cut by Freddy's claws than a freaking
I think I'd
chainsaw,
rather
dude.
try to take over Freddy.
Yeah,
you think?
dude. Literally, we watched the original Nightmare on Elm Street last
Yeah.
night, and I was like, watching those old movies gets kind of rough sometimes. It's like, God, our graphics and effects are so much better today. But if it's 1984 Freddy, I'll fight 1984 Freddy.
I think I'd have to take over Freddy, man.
I don't know.
I think we'd have to do Freddy.
1984 Freddy. I haven't seen the 2010 version
I
yet.
ain't seen that one though.
Yeah, I didn't really care for the new one. The old school is just way.
Oh, yeah.
Or
that
Chucky.
old school, man.
You kick him like a football.
See, I can take Chucky. I can take Chucky. Freddy, I'm not gonna jack with because I don't want him. I don't want him jacking up my dreams.
He mess you up, man. Old Freddy.
Like Robert England, I felt like he'd tell a better joke or make me laugh before I'd actually.
Yes, I agree with
fight
you.
him, dude.
That's what, yeah.
Could you imagine, Lois? Could you imagine trying to film with him?
Oh God!
Could you
man.
imagine trying to film with him, man?
I bet that. I was literally. I made that comment last night. I was
bet
like,
it-
I bet it was so much fun making this
Oh,
damn movie.
yeah.
I bet it took
was.
him a long time.
Oh,
So them guys act up, and they get to laughing.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
did you know that was Johnny Depp's first movie?
Yes. Yep.
A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm
No,
Street.
I didn't know that till I watched that last night. It's the first time I seen it since I was
Yep.
like a kid.
Oh, Freddy, boy.
I didn't think about that shit
We'll
back
usually
then.
do like we'll go through all the scary movies when me and Katie can do it when the kids are asleep.
Right,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. While they're in the bed, man, you
Yeah.
sit back
Yeah.
and watch it. You know what was really funny about old Robert England is they found him, man, at a gas station.
Really?
He was pumping gas, man. He was making $6 or something an hour. They said.
Yeah.
Well, you know he was an actor before, right?
Oh, really?
He was already an established actor before.
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
was looking at that last night because I remember you telling me that story
Yep.
before.
Yeah.
Maybe he was before he got into acting. I don't know.
They found him, man. He was at a gas station.
Dang.
Yeah.
Old Freddy.
Yeah, he was probably the best Freddy we could have.
Oh yeah, man.
Like I said,
Oh,
this
buddy.
new one, I just
That newer one is the only one he didn't play.
yeah.
Freddy.
Who played the new one?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know.
No? Okay.
I haven't even seen. We almost watched it last night, and I was like, no, I want to watch the OG.
Yeah,
I want
you
to
got
see.
man.
Yeah, I got to see this one.
I mean, you gotta
Robert
watch. You
Englund.
gotta watch the new one too because it's gonna make you appreciate
Right.
the old school OG Freddy. It's the same thing with it, but yeah, we're talking about Pennywise from
Yes.
the original It.
On it.
Yeah.
On it, man.
Yeah.
I think the original guy wasn't it Curry?
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry,
Tim
yes.
Curry.
Yeah.
He was good. He was like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
original Freddy. He's
Yeah.
gonna make you laugh, but
Yeah.
then he's
Yeah.
gonna kill you.
Then he's gonna kill you, but
Yeah.
right.
Though I gotta give props to Bill Skarsgård as the new one. He was
Yes.
creepy, dude.
Yes, he did.
He did
He did a
good
good job on it.
He did do a good job. He was creepy.
He was.
Boys, let me tell you something. Them old boys set hours and hours and hours in makeup, man, just to do a
Oh.
2-minute
God,
shot,
dude.
boy.
Yeah.
Man. They said for hours, boy. Because they was talking to who was that guy, man? That played Hellboy. Was that Ron Perlman?
Oh yeah, that was like a superhero thing, wasn't it? Sort
Was
of.
it wrong?
Hellboy.
Yeah, it was wrong.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it
I
was
think
wrong.
it was Ron
Yeah,
Perlman.
yeah.
But he said, yeah, man. He said I'd get there at 3 a.m. He said just to do a 10-minute shot. He said it took 9 hours to get me ready.
Oh yeah, they'd spend most of their
Oh,
day.
my God.
They'd spend
9
most of the day
hours.
in makeup. Oh
Ain't
yeah.
that crazy?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yep.
I'll be saying, no, we're getting this all in one shot. Edit it out.
Yeah, man. Hey, let's get this done. Get it over with, man.
Yep.
God, dang.
See,
get
yeah,
it
there was
over
two. See, those were like superhero type movies,
Yeah.
though. I
Yeah.
believe.
Like
yeah.
Marvel or whatever.
Yeah, he was technically a superhero.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, I guess another good scary movie was like Spawn. and
Spawn, buddy.
Blade,
But yep.
Sort of, yeah.
Boys, let me tell you something.
It was a vampire
The
flick.
Crow.
When I was 16 years old,
Well, the first one was really good.
in 1977, there was a movie come out, and they just redid it here. Was it 2 years ago? When the original Exorcist when it come out.
I didn't know they redid it.
Yeah, there's another one out. Yeah.
Unless
I
they
don't
made
know.
another sequel to it. I don't know.
They might have.
And I didn't know this here, man. Till I was listening to the news about it, and they was talking about that people was going to see it, and they was getting sick.
Oh yeah, I
Did you
did hear about
that,
this.
man?
Yeah,
Yeah, man. They was
I
getting
did hear
sick,
about
man.
that.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, they said people, man, would go in there, man, and they said all of a sudden, man, they get to feeling real bad, get to feeling real sick, man, they'd have to run out. Some of them would go out and throw up.
Wow.
Man, they said,
Oh dang!
no joke, boy,
It was funny you talk about The Exorcist. I don't know if you were with us. It was a bunch of us guys and some of the girls went with us. Man, it had to been maybe in high school. The Exorcist of Emily Rose. You remember that movie?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Yes,
So
I
there's a
remember that
scene
one.
in there where
Yep.
the priest gets smashed by a truck or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, Chachi was with us. It was I think me, I think Jesse was with us, or Mikey, Chase, Derek, Brittany, I believe, and some few other people. Well, Chachi was putting in a dip. And right when he's about to put his dip in, that priest gets hit by a bus. He jumps up, and I think he chokes on spit on
dude.
dip. I will never forget that. And, man,
dude.
it ruined the movie because I was laughing about that the whole night.
Dude.
buddy. Oh, man.
Oh man,
Yeah, I remember that movie.
yeah.
I tell you, man, but some of the best. I tell you, another guy, man, that was real good was on writing stories, boy, doing even actually like sci-fi stuff was old Rod Serling, Twilight Zone, man.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
You're getting back there now. 60s.
I'm gonna take you back a little further. I watched one the other night, man. I watched one the other night, and this guy, it started out, he landed a spaceship. He gets out, he's the only guy. He gets out and he's walking down this town, and he's looking. It's a whole big town, man. He's watching. Nobody's there. Nobody around. Man, he's walking. He's hollering, "Hey, anybody here? Anybody here?" He's looking. All of a sudden, he hears a sound. Here's a church. So he goes to this church. He goes down there and he hears a organ playing. Goes in there and he hollering there, "Hey, come on!" He sees nobody in there. Anyway, man, he goes through the whole show like that, And there at the end, man, it shows you, man, he's just cracking, man. He's just hollering and yelling. And all of a sudden it shows these two guys behind this window, two government officials. Is to see what happens, boys, whenever you put them under a little pressure. He says without any companionship, they was faking that, making him dream that, but to see what he was going to do,
Yeah.
to see what happened.
Man.
That was pretty neat, man.
How those end? You have now entered the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Folks,
I'm surprised they haven't made a remake of those yet.
I
They
know.
tried.
Yeah,
They
they
tried?
tried. Yeah,
They did try.
Yeah, they
And I
did
think
try,
it
yeah.
lasted like one season.
Another show,
Yeah.
another show he had, boys, right after the Twilight Zone was in the early '70s. Was a show called called Night Gallery. That Night Gallery, man, whenever he would come on, he was always standing beside a painting, and that show was going to be about that painting. And it might be a guy sitting in a boat there, He said, "Folks, we got a show tonight." He said about a guy. He said that his wishes came true. He said, he looks over that painting, he said, "Matter of fact, he's sitting right here." Then that show starts, And it shows this guy, man, going through his life and everything. And he goes to sleep one night, man, and he's out there in that same boat. He's out there rolling out there, man, and he's in that painting,
Oh man.
See, Dad's already getting us started.
Oh yeah. Take a
Digging
few
in.
warm up questions.
Digging into his inner Art Bell a little bit. Yeah,
That's just a little tease for y'all.
That's
Give a
what I
little-
think it is.
give a little shout out to Art Bell, that old radio show from way back in the day.
Man, I like Art Bill,
there we
man.
go.
Art
He
Bill.
Wild Bill's radio show
Buddy,
Yeah.
Art,
at night.
You know, I tell you, boys,
That's what you need, Dad.
I tell you what, boys, when I first heard about Art Bell, I was working at Kimlon, man. That was about 19, probably. No, I guess it's about. Yeah, it was.
90s.
Yeah, it was in the 90s, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, I was working with an old boy, and he said, "Hey, Bill, we get off at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know." He said, "Hey, Bill," he said, "you listen to radio going home?" I said, "Well, yeah, man, I do." I said, back then they had a radio station called KZEP 104.5 out of San Antonio. It was a classic rock station, and then played all night long, you know.
Yeah.
He said, "Man," he said, "when you're going home tonight," he said, "go to WOAI, which is AM, man, you know."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Man, I don't want to listen to W." He said, "No, man." He said, "Go." He said, "Go and listen to the guy that's talking on there." I said, "Who is that?" He said, "His name is Art Bell, you know." And boys, I got to listen to that dude. I listened to him every morning, man, when I was going home then. I got hooked on him, you know.
Yeah.
And I never will forget, man, he was doing a story one time. I was driving home, and he said, "Folks," he said, "we got an interesting guy on the show tonight." He said, he's calling in. He said he's calling in from Minnesota. And he said he got an interesting story tonight. He said about a hunting trip he was on. So they're sitting there talking and everything. And he asked the guy. He said, "Sir," he said, "you made a comment that you was hunting. You and your brother-in-law, am I right?" He said, "Yes." He said, "You're right." He said, "Sir," he said, "and you all seen something that you didn't know what you had seen." He said, "Yes." He said, "That's right." He said, "Well, what did you he said, "And did you see it again?" You know. The guy said, "Yes, we did." He said, "We saw it we didn't see it for about 6 months," he said, "but we was turkey hunting. Turkey season," he said, "in April, and we seen it again," he said. He said, "Well, what did you see?" He said, "We don't know." He said, "All we know is," he said, "it looked like a wolf," he said, "but he said it had hair," he said, "about 8 inches long. And he said it stood higher in the front than it did in the back," he said. And he said it would only, he said, "you would only see it," he said, just for a second," he said, "and it was gone, you know." And he was telling him, and then right after this old boy talks to him, another guy calls in, all the way son from Washington State.
Oh, man.
Has the same story. Telling him, he said, "Man," he said, "I've seen the same thing this guy's talking about," he said. "We was hunting in a neck of woods," he said, "right up in the Yukon Territory," he said. We was moose hunting. And he said, "Me and a buddy of mine seen the same thing," he said. He said, "Man," he said, "we seen it cross the snow," he said. "We got to see it," he said, "for maybe about a minute," he said. "And we was probably," he said, "500 yards from it." He said, "We just watched that thing," he said, "Man," he said, "it was just down below," he said, "just crossing that field," he said. That you could watch it, you know. Said, "That's crazy, ain't it, buddy?" But Art Bell, man, you know where he lived, don't you, Chris? Mm-mm. So on his property, it backed up to Area 51.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You were telling me. Tell us about that.
Yeah.
I mentioned him before.
okay.
And they would talk to him a lot. And he said, and people called in and said, "Hey, Art," said, "Man," said, "we know you live right on Area 51, you know." He said, "Yes, I do." He said, "Well, do you see things happen there?" He said, "I'll put it this way." He said, "There's stuff going on," he said, 24/7. He said, "Now what's going on, I don't know," he said, "but I know this much. All you got to do," he said, "is just drive the road that leaves my place," he said, "and it goes right along that fence," he said, "and if you stop for any amount of time," he said, "there's going to be some people right there," he said, "watching you," he said, "on the other side of that fence," he said, "They're going to sit there and watch you," he said, "and they're going to watch you leave, and if you stop again, there'll be somebody else watching."
Dang.
You know, he said, "That's how close they." But he said, "Man, they was plain, son, going out and into there all night long." He's just constantly, you know. And they said, here we go again, back in New Mexico, man, back in the 50s when that spaceship crashed that time.
Yeah.
They were saying,
Roswell.
yeah, Roswell, New Mexico. They were saying that all them old farmers there, man, son, actually seen them aliens. And they were told, you know, don't
Shush,
hush, you know. And them aliens were supposed to wind up going, son, to NASA, son, in Florida, and they supposed to still be there. They said they put them under cryogenics, you know.
I'll watch Independence Day again.
Hey, boy, you know another crazy movie? I mean, man, that tripped me out when I watched it, and it still kind of bungfuzzles my mind today, man. Was is it Interstellar, Willie?
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
Dude, that's a good
Son,
movie.
That's a great movie.
right there.
Great
That's a
movie.
crazy movie right there.
It
boy.
makes you think a lot.
Yes, it does.
yeah.
Boy. Yeah.
Especially when he's going through the travel
yeah,
dimension.
yeah.
You're like, what's going on?
And what's really funny,
Yeah.
man, the whole time, son, he could hear her.
Yes.
It didn't matter where he was at.
Yeah.
It's like she was right here, you know.
Yep.
That's how close he was, you know.
Talking about like at the end.
You see there at the end, yeah.
Oh yeah, when he ended up in that
The
kind of
bookshelf type.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that, buddy?
Yeah.
It was like a gravity,
Yep.
kind of like a gravity vortex.
But I always think about that. I said, man, that's still today bung folds with my mind, you know, buddy, you know.
Yes.
About that boy, you know.
It was like they were calling it like a fifth dimension.
Yeah, like a fifth dimension, you know. Man, it was crazy, son.
Beyond our 3 dimensions that we know now. Yeah,
He kept saying all the time. He said, "I can hear you." He said, "Where you at?" He said, "But he could hear her, but she couldn't hear him."
Yeah.
no, all he could do was like
Push those. Yeah.
hit things and cause books to fall.
Like Stranger Things, man. They go up some of these what they call them portals, man. You
I
know?
have not seen that show. Sadly.
Yeah, Stranger Things. Yeah, where they take their hand, they stick to it, and they bring it back. You know, man. You know.
Yep.
I need to watch that show.
That's crazy.
Talk about it. So
That's some crazy stuff, man. You know. Yeah.
Oh man. God dang, we just got into some good stuff.
Well, I
These
know.
questions don't even matter anymore.
Just getting going, dude.
Man.
Just getting started.
Just getting going.
I had some facts, but yeah, let's throw some facts in there real quick.
Throw a few. Throw a
Put it in
few.
there, Chris.
Let me see. Let me get them in here. Halloween's roots go back over 2,000 years to the Celtic festival of Samhain, marking the end of harvest and the start of winter. I didn't know that.
I didn't either, man.
Huh.
Yep.
But I do know this, man. That I'll get into that a little later. I'll get in.
Okay.
I'll get into that.
I know.
I'll get into that.
I know you got a lot to get into.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm gonna bring this up right here about some stuff.
Okay.
On in my family. I'm gonna bring this up,
Oh
buddy.
yeah, we'll definitely get into that. I don't even need a sound effect board. I got you. Let me see. The first vampire movie wasn't Dracula. You know what it was?
Nosferatu.
Which year?
Oh,
What year?
22?
Bam. You're on the money.
1922.
Yep.
Wow, buddy.
I think I saw it scrolling through Amazon Prime the other day. That's the only reason I know that.
What's it called? It's Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
Yes.
Nosferatu.
They
Buddy.
said they said it was so creepy it got sued by the Dracula estate.
Really, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, see, that novel
Now
was
you boys know
kinda
that there was a man named Dracula,
Yes.
buddy.
Yeah.
He was, you know.
Yeah. See, that's what Nosferatu, I guess, was the actual novel.
Yes.
Written by who wrote that, man? Who wrote the original?
Boy, I don't know, boy.
Our lifestyle. Goosebumps.
Stram Broker?
Oh, Bram Stoker.
Bram Stoker. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, Bram Stoker.
Bram Stoker. Yeah, it was
buddy,
Bram
yeah.
Stoker.
Bram Stoker,
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought.
Huh.
See, they call there was a movie in the '90s called Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah,
Well, I
right.
think Bram
okay,
Stoker
yeah.
actually wrote Nosferatu.
Now, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Hey, didn't know what's his name? Old Tom Cruise play in that movie.
Yeah, there was a.
Oh, you're talking about Interview with the Vampire.
Interview with the
Yes,
Vampire. There you
yeah.
go, buddy.
That
That's
had a crazy cast. That had Brad
Yeah,
Pitt,
yeah,
they were all
Cruise,
young. Yeah.
Antonio Banderas is in
Antonio
that movie.
Banderas. Yeah. That's great. That's a crazy cast. man.
Young Kirsten Dunst, I
Yes.
think, was in it.
Kristen Dunst was in there.
Yeah, that was a really good
You
cast.
talk about Bandera.
Christian Slater at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah, he was in there,
he was the
Yeah, he
journalist. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a crazy cast. Man.
Dang.
Had a lot of people in there, man. I mean, famous people.
I got something else crazy for you. Jack-o'-lanterns weren't originally carved from. They weren't carved from pumpkins first. They were turnips and beets.
Turnips and beets.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding, buddy.
Yeah. That's what it
Wow,
says.
I'll be dog. I didn't know that.
Yep.
No
They were
clue.
originally carved from turnips and beets before pumpkins became the go-to in America.
I'll be dog.
Okay then.
Yeah.
What?
I'm gonna carve, and it's not gonna be pumpkin.
I'm gonna buy me an onion.
You know, when I read that, I was thinking of
Make
what's
kids
his name?
cry or what?
I was thinking of Dwight Schrute from The Office.
Oh shit! Turnips and
Beets. His beet farm.
That old beet farm, man.
Dwight.
That's it. That old beet farm.
Here's the last one. The biggest Halloween parade in the U.S. is New York City Village Halloween Parade, drawing over 2 million people each year.
Wow.
Huh.
Boy, that's some serious people.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
That's some serious people, boy.
A lot of people in that area.
Yep,
They are.
it is. Yep. That's about all the facts I got.
Well, boys, you know what's funny? You know, it's funny that you mentioned that about New York, man. If you watch most of your movies, man, where do they take place at, bud? They're all on the East Coast.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to get back into what we were doing there a while ago. Okay, bud, all of this folklore, all of this, I would say superstitious stuff, and all this believing of all kinds of, witchcraft and stuff like that all comes from Ireland, Scotland, and England. That's
Really?
all. That's all in there. That's where a lot of that comes from. Because everybody that landed at Plymouth Rock, man, they was all some from England.
Right.
They's all coming in from that part
It's
of the
a
country.
mixture of all that.
All
yeah.
that's coming in. See, buddy.
I wonder if that. Well, let me take it further back. So, I know most of your Irish and Scottish guys. They're all somehow with what is it? The Danish, the Vikings.
Yeah, they are.
And
buddy.
so the
Right,
Vikings
yeah.
did a lot of that stuff too, though.
Yeah.
Witchcraft
Yeah,
stuff.
they did, boy.
So I wonder if they brought that to them, then it came over here. like that.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah.
I'll tell you what I did, Chris, here about.
The Nordic invasion.
Yeah.
The Viking invasion.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I did about 15 years ago, son. I done a DNA test.
Oh, really?
So the kids taught me to do it. My wife wanted me to do it. So I get it back in about 3 weeks, I look at this thing, man, and I'm like, holy cow, It says Irish, and up here, man, it's got a big, like 45%, man, Norwegian,
Oh, really?
I said, how in the world? And I said, how did that happen? Then it gets down here, man, but then the rest is Scottish and Irish down here,
Yeah.
And up here, at the top, it says 40 so many percent Norwegian. No, Willie said, well, Dad, he said, years ago, man, he said, the Vikings invaded Ireland, he said.
Yep.
And they said, that's where that comes in at, he said, right there.
Yep.
He said, and I told him, I said, gosh, dog, I never knew that.
Yeah, well, there's going to be some percentage, most likely.
Yeah.
If you're from the British Isles,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you're
going to
part-
be some
yeah.
percent.
you're going to have some percentage.
I know. I did mine too, and I forgot what mine said. But
Most
Most
of
back,
yeah.
same thing.
most of mine's Scottish and Irish.
Yeah.
I'm from
Yeah.
just that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the bigger percentage was right there on the British, like Great Britain Isle.
I might have been, yeah. It might have been.
No, it was a solid percentage from like Finland, Norway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot of feeling there, boy. I had a lot of that in me, man.
yeah. He just didn't expect that higher percentage like
I
that.
looked at her and I said, holy cow,
And that's
man.
what I told him. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I literally just watched a show about that.
The Vikings.
Yeah, I mean,
Then at the very bottom, man. It gets down there at the very bottom. I had 13% German in me.
Yep.
yes. So it's same. That's all Germanic peoples.
So I
Yeah.
get down there at the bottom, 1%. Brothers.
You know what? Mine said the same thing.
That's
on
no
there.
lie, Chris.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine said the same thing.
I didn't have it done, but yeah, because you don't always get
Said
everything.
1% brother.
Yeah.
You don't always get the same things from each parent.
No, you don't.
No,
man.
you don't.
No, you
No.
don't, man.
So I never had it done, but so there's no telling what
trying-
it would say for me.
I was trying to pull mine up. It ain't pulling up.
But
though.
man, I looked on there, man, and I told Willie, I said, how in the world, son, I got that much Scandinavian in me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All them Denmark and all that. He said, that's them people that invaded Ireland, he said.
Well, they invaded the British Isles.
They invaded the British
That,
Isles.
that went on for about 200
They
years.
just didn't invade British Isle. They also invaded France.
Yeah, they invaded
Yes.
France too, man. Yeah.
If you
see,
watch
yeah.
Vikings, they
Yeah.
kind of go over
And
that.
it's
Yeah.
funny because when I was watching that show, I was just doing the 23andMe, and I'm part
That's one
French
I done.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
Yep.
Well, France invaded Normandy
Yeah.
invaded Britain as well.
Yeah.
That was actually the last time
Yeah,
England
so
was
I got to
conquered.
look at
Yeah.
that. I told Willie, I said, gosh, no, man.
Yeah.
that's-
That was
that's
the last time they were
I said,
conquered.
42%.
Or conquered and successfully invaded.
Yep.
The last time England was successfully invaded was the Norman Conquest.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Normandy.
that's where you probably get the
France.
height
But
from.
you know, boys,
Maybe.
but you know, boys, if you get into England, if you get to really checking into things, son, there's some dark stuff in there.
Oh, yeah.
Son, there's some serious stuff in there.
Yeah.
I tell you what, man, some of them kings, man, back in the 14th century, back in there, boy,
And the Queens, too.
and the queens too, boy.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
they had, they had kids, man, by way other people, man.
Yeah.
Boy, then a lot of times them them husbands, them kings would find out about it, and so they kill them kids.
Yeah.
So they'd take them out, boy, you know. I mean, it didn't matter, man, who you was. I was watching a show, man, about Scotland. There's a castle at the very north end of Scotland, and I can't remember what they call that castle now.
There's a lot of them.
man. But anyway, it's owned by an individual, and the guy that owns it, man, he lives there. He's 77 years old, and he lives. And I can't remember the name of that castle, boys, but boy, there's some serious stuff happened there, bud. Down underneath there, man, there's a dungeon down there, and that camera guy, man, he took him down there and let him see it, you know. And man, some of the stuff down there, man, that they use, man, is still there, you know.
Ooh. This is going spooky.
And that old boy, man, they was talking to him, and they asked him, he said that they'd always heard about a Scotsman that played the bagpipes and would stand on the edge of that castle was way up on the mountain, man, you know. Then the coast was right here. He was standing on the edge of that deal here, and he would play, and he'd look at them ships, you know. Well, they killed that man. They took his head.
Ooh.
Well, anyway, man, that guy, they said about 10 or 15 years after that happened, I forgot the family that was living there, that happened in 1740, I think they said, 1730. But the family that was living there, the boy would wake up at night, man, and hear that playing.
That's a creepy hearing.
And he's the only one that could hear it.
Oh.
And he was telling his mom and dad about it, you know. This old man was telling that cameraman, that people would interview him, you know, telling him about what happened. And he said only the boy could hear it. What he said, after a few months passed and everything, he said they was in the yard, the boy, he had two sisters, they was playing. And he said the boy, he looks up and he sees that guy playing. He's standing on the edge of that balcony. He's sitting there playing, looking out towards the sea, you know. And he said the boy'd seen him many times, but nobody believed him. And then he said that family wind up, you know, mom and dad died all, kids moved, you know. He said, well, by that time, he said, it was up until about the middle 1800s, he said. Well, he said, now we're getting into modern day time, you know, he was saying. He said, now we get some people moves in here, he said, you know, it's a business father. He said, I've done all the research on this castle, he said, all the way back, he said, till it was built, he said. He said, I got all the families, I got every member that lived here, he said. And I even got all the history, man, of what happened here. He was showing that guy. He said, this family moves in, he said. They live there about a year or two. And he said, the boy and the girl both, he said, was playing in the backyard. And there was a real high fence there, man, along that, because that's a drop off there, boy. I mean, that circle was steep, man. They had a big fence there, man, real close fence, and they played. Well, the boy stops and he looks out towards the ocean, and he tells the sister, he said, look, he said, there's a ship, you know, there's a ship coming. And she said, a ship? She said, yeah. He said, come and look. Well, she sees it too, you know. Well, they telling their mom and daddy, hey, daddy, there's a ship, come and look at it. Well, they get out there, man, they couldn't see that ship. Just them kids could see it. Well, it went on and everything, and the next time they get there, they see the ship. All of a sudden, man, that guy appears beside him, man, he's playing that bagpipe, you know. And he said the boy looks up at him, you know, and he looks back at the boy, and he grins at him, you know, and he keeps playing, and he said, but the guy never bothered nobody.
Huh.
And he said, and then they finally asked him, he said, I know the question you're going to ask me. Have I ever seen him? And he said, I never have seen him, he said, but he said, at nighttime, he said, that guy that played, he said, the bagpipes, he said, he stayed in that room right up here, he said. He said, at nighttime, I can hear footsteps going up the steps, he said. He said, I can be here looking at my paper, you know, reading my paper. He said, you can hear them footsteps, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of haunted castles.
Oh yeah. Well,
We're talking about
yeah, that's what I was saying, you know, buddy.
talking about places like Scotland, Ireland,
I
Europe in general. I mean, there's castles all over. There's medieval buildings, structures.
Let's get back to what I was going to tell you. My grandma now was real superstitious, and she was part Indian, and she was born and raised in in Arkansas, but her folks come from North Carolina. And she was part Cherokee when she was. Well, anyway, whenever she was growing up and everything, I guess she had my grandpa. They said he was mean as all get out, man. I don't even he was done and dead and gone when I was born and everything. And anyway, grandpa and him got married, but son, I never will forget one night. That's probably about maybe old Willie's age or a little Conway's age or a little older. Might have been a little older. And now she'd give me something like a piece of cake, man, in the saucer. Well, I dropped it. Well, I went and got a broom, man, to sweep that up. Man, she got all over me, but she said, "Don't you ever grab that broom at nighttime and sweep my floor." She said, she took that broom, throwed it outside, and went and bought a new one.
Really?
She said, "Don't ever do that." She said, that's bad. She said, you could cause somebody to die in the family.
What?
Yeah, don't joke, man.
Huh.
Anyway, man.
My grandma was superstitious too.
Whenever she got married, she had my mom. She had a couple boys, Aunt Helen. Korean War comes up. Okay, my Uncle Earl gets drafted. He goes to service. He goes overseas. He's fighting and everything. And my grandma, boy, she's scared to death every day. She ain't going to get to see him no more. She's praying every day. Well, after about a year, he was over there. All of a sudden, man, she's sitting there in the chair by the window. A bird comes up, starts pecking on that window. It wouldn't leave, She seen it pecking on it, and she said, my grandpa's name was Yule. She said, Yule, something's happened to Earl, she said. He said, what are you? She said, oh, he said, there you go again, believing that stuff. She said, no, something's happened to Earl. Well, that bird flies off. About 15 minutes, that phone rings.
Oh.
And she picks it up, and it was the Pentagon. And they asked who she was, told him who she was, and said, well, we want to let you know, ma'am, that there was a bad raid where Earl was at, and there was a lot of casualties, and we can't find him. Right now, he's MIA, So she's worried to death. She goes to bed that night, couldn't sleep, praying. She gets up the next morning, she was washing dishes, man, in the kitchen. That bird comes up, pecks on that window right there. Pecking on that window, she said, she told my grandpa, she said, there's something with Earl. She said, that old phone rings a little bit later. They tell her, said, we found Earl. He's in a Japanese hospital. He's alive, he said, but he's in bad shape. Dang. That's no lie. That's a true story. And boy, she was real. And she had lots of superstitions, boy. Another thing, man, son, right before, about this time of year right now, actually 1st October, them old wild, oh man, I can't think of the name of them trees now. Oh, buddy. It ain't pears. I see them trees, buddy. What are they called? Trying to think of
they grow fruit on it?
Yeah.
They're wild?
See, son, what is that? What are they called?
So this would have been Missouri?
Yeah, it's up home, yeah.
Oh. Trying to think what grows down there.
Son, I'm trying to think of what they are. We used to put them on the end of the stick, man, when they're green, and you can slang that sucker, man.
Oh, I don't know.
Persimmons, man, persimmons.
Persimmons?
Wild persimmons.
Okay.
All right, man. About the first of this month here, up home, you can take one and you can cut it down the middle. Okay, it's either going to have a spoon in it, or it might have a knife in it. My grandma said she'd cut them. She'd open it up. She'd say, "Gonna be a lot of snow this year." Said it's got a spoon in here. We're gonna be shoveling lots of snow. She said, and if it had a knife in there, there's gonna be a knife cutting freezing winter. Real cold, boy, And sure enough, boy, you would cut one open, man. It's gonna have one or the other in there. And if one has it, they all have it.
Really?
They all have it. Yep. There's no joke, buddy.
That's interesting.
But yeah, man, she had some, but it was crazy, man. Like you hear all kinds of folklore and everything, and but she was really, she believed in ghosts, man. She said, the reason I believe in ghosts, she told me one time, she said, I've seen them. Said, I've actually seen them, she said. Now, buddy, we get to that. we get to my other grandma, that she boy, I think she was like, she said, I think she was like 35 years old. And my grandpa, on my dad's daddy, he done passed away. Okay, he passed away because he died at 33 years old. And my grandma, I think he done been passed away for 4 or 5 years, and I think she told me she was 35 years old at that time. And son, she was up there where she lived at, over Harold McGee. Cousin of mine lives right here. That road goes by over Harold's house, and it turns real sharp like this here, and go up here, son, there's another house set right here. Well, you had to walk out this way right here, son, there was a well right here. And she would draw water right there, man, you know. She was there, said I was there one Saturday morning, and said she went out there to get her a bucket of water. So she drives down, is that mine?
Oh yeah.
So she drops that bucket down, get her some water. Draws it back up, picks it up and everything, takes it off that old hook, you know, gets it off of there. And she said, boy, she was telling my dad this. And my dad, and he told me about it a little few years later, you know. And so she said, I had that pail of water, Billy, and I was walking back to the house, and I heard somebody holler, "Good morning, Ethel. Ethel, how you doing this morning?" She said, well, who's that hollering? I thought Billy went home. And she turned around and looked, and this old guy was down there, man, had a cane in his hand, waving at her like this here. "Good morning, Ethel, how you been? Doing okay?" And she said, and she told Dad, she said, Billy, said, I walked about 10 foot and I dropped that bucket of water, and I turned around and looked again. She said, my God, that was Shelton Ward. He'd been dead for 10 years.
Oh.
And she told my dad, she said, Billy, it was just like I'm looking at you right now, she said. That's how clear it was. That's no lie, but
Man,
ain't that crazy?
that is.
But she told that till the day she died. She said, boys, I know what I seen, she said. She said, I know what I seen.
Yeah.
Oh,
That ain't that something? Son, I had some cousins. Old Lord Allen and old Claude J, buddy. Son, they was riding around one night drinking beer and everything, you know.
yeah.
Old Claude J had a 71 Ford Torino. Boy, he had her jacked up, son, it was hot. Old Claude J was about 40 years old then, and old Lloyd was a little older than him. They brothers. Their mama died about 6 months before that, which was my aunt, and be my grandma's sister, when I tell you about superstitious
Yeah,
and everything. Anyway, so old Claude J said, boy, we over at Cascade, Billy. You know, you got that bridge you got to cross? I said, I know what you're talking about, yeah. He said, we was there at 2:30 in the morning. He said, Billy, we wasn't drunk. He said, we drank some beer, he said, but we wasn't drunk. He said, all of a sudden, Billy, that car, buddy, just stops on that bridge. He said, middle ways that bridge. And then he said, what's wrong with this stupid car, you know? And old Lloyd said, what happened? You run out of gas? He said, well, I got half a tank of gas. And he said, I was sitting in that building, I looked up, and so I kind of looked up, and so I looked in the rearview mirror, he said, Mom was sitting in the back seat. He said, I mean, Billy, just as crystal clear as if she was right there alive, man. He said, old Lord almost jumped out of the car and jumped in the water. Said old Lord said, now Lord didn't see it, you know.
Yeah.
But old Claudia looked in that rearview mirror, and there she was sitting there.
Oh, man.
Hell no. She said, get y'all's ass home now.
And old Claudia, Lloyd passed away already. Old Claudia's still living. He'll still tell that story today, man.
Man.
He's 70, old Claudia, he's 78 years old.
Man.
But I tell you, but man, that's
Claude J.
old Claudia. That's the name, man.
That's funny you talk about.
Cousin Claude J.
I know they got in San Antonio, they got that railroad. You ever heard about
Yeah,
the stories
I've heard that.
when the kids got hit
I've heard
by
that.
the
With
bus?
the
Got them
fingerprints.
hands, buddy?
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah, my dad, when he was working over there at Discount Tire, him and some of the coworkers did that.
Okay, buddy.
They said, oh yeah, it works.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, son, they'll push that car.
Yeah.
Son, I mean, good thing you told about San Antonio. I'm going to tell you a story. I used to work with a boy. That's Kim Lon over here. And he was born and raised in San Antonio.
Kim Lon.
Well, anyway, son, we was there one night. We worked nights, you know. We sitting there, man, and
Y'all had many interesting nights over there.
man, we sitting there, and we got to talking one night there and everything. We got to talking about, things happening, with people. And he said, Billy, he said, you ever been to Alamo? I said, y'all have been there.
It's a creepy place.
He said, have you been all the way through it? I said, I've been all the way through it, man. He said, let me tell you a story. He said, He said, I got an uncle that worked there for 30 years as a night watchman and retired. Ooh. He said, when he first started, Bill, and he said he started back in the later 70s. He said, him, 2 other guys, he said, them guys done been there a while. And they told my uncle, they said, now, we want you to know something. You're going to hear things in here, but don't let it scare you. He said, matter of fact, you're going to hear. Said, matter of fact, you're going to hear a lot of things.
Yeah.
He said, you're even going to see things. He said,
Oh man.
He said that you won't believe. He said, and he said, but what you're seeing is you're going to see it. He said, but it ain't there. So he said, man, his uncle working there. The old boy's name was Eli that worked with me, and Eli Casares. And he said, Bill, he said, my uncle was telling a story to my dad. He said, sitting there, he said, I was there about 6 months. He said, and we sitting there about 2 o'clock in the morning. He said, and maybe taking a break. He said, man, all of a sudden, man, you hear a loud scream, just like a woman, man. He said, I mean, it's just right down the hall, man, you know. He said, man, you jump up, you know, and you run down there, man, and you're shining a flashlight, you're looking in these rooms, and nothing, man, you know. Go back, sit down, get to eat, and said it might be 30 minutes later. Said, you'll hear pow. Gunshot go off,
man.
you know. He said, and he said, man, he said, you might hear like like somebody like wrestling or fighting, man, you know. Said, you can hear him on the ground. He said, man, you can hear him rolling around on the ground, you know. But he said, what really blew his mind one night, he said, what really blew his mind, boys, one night, if you remember, there's an oak tree out there. Chris, that oak tree's still there. Yeah. They hung some people on that oak tree.
Yeah.
They hung a few people. Said he was sitting there one night, him and the same old boys, they was eating dinner. He said the wind was kind of blowing, you know, a little bit outside. And said all of a sudden, man, he hears a racket, and he looks up. He can see an old boy hanging, son, just swinging on a rope out there back and forth. And them old boys said, I believe you, I've seen it before. He said, I believe you. He said, boy, they said that sucker's haunted, son.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah,
all the stuff that happened
yeah,
in that
they said
area.
that Alamo's haunted, boy.
Man, that might be a fun job to have. Just part-time.
Yeah, boy. But son of Eli, he said his uncle. Yeah, he said his uncle be walking through there, you know, checking everything out, man. He said, all of a sudden, man, you'd hear somebody like a man holler, hey!
Viva la Mexico. Dang.
I've heard Goliad's extremely haunted too.
I heard about Goliad too.
You can stay the night.
Yes.
In the what do they call that room? It's where like all the sick were being held, and they were all executed in that room.
Ooh.
Yes.
Wow, boy.
And you can stay the night in that room. You have to pay, of course. And yeah, that is supposed to be extremely haunted.
Dang.
My boys, how about
And a
that old
scary
Yorktown
experience
hospital?
too.
Yorktown?
Yorktown
Yeah, I've
hospital.
heard that, but like
I haven't heard about that.
supposedly, like, can you still do tours of that place?
Yeah, you can. Matter of fact, they got it on Facebook, son.
Really?
Yep. They got it on Facebook.
Supposedly that was.
I know they're doing a touring in Dallas of like I guess all the old hotels, like Dillway Hotel. Then they also actually doing the old jail cell where they used to hang people and all that.
Yep.
Wow.
Hey, Chris and Aaron, did Chris ever tell you about that time they went to Louisiana?
No, I don't think so.
He never told them about
I'm
that
not even
time?
sure I know what you're talking about.
Oh, he never told you about that?
If he did, I forgot.
Okay, son. Where they stayed at, was it the Myrtles?
The Myrtles Plantation.
Okay, son, they stayed there.
Yeah, they did do. Yeah.
Okay, and there's a few things happen there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that works there sees a lot of stuff. And okay, there was a slave girl that they put her to death, or she was eavesdropping at the door. You know, she kept listening to her master talking. They put her to death. Well, the way they put her to death, son, was by oleander leaves. They boiled them and they give it to her like tea.
Yeah.
Well, when she drank it, she died.
Wow. So basically, they didn't just put her to death. They like sneakily gave it to her.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, man.
Like murder.
A lot of people have seen her.
Same thing.
Supposed to be. Well, Aaron and Chris spent the night there. Well, son, old Chris said they said they went out to eat, and he said when they come back, he said, man, he said when he closed the door, he noticed he noticed that deal on the door was changed, you know. He said it wasn't like it was when they left, you know. Well, he didn't pay money. He thought maybe somebody come in the room, done something, you know, and left, you know. Well, Aaron goes to bed, and the story is behind the legend is that sometimes that people that stay there will get sick like that girl, you know.
Really?
Yes, sir, man. Son Aaron woke up that night real sick, boy.
Huh.
Real sick in her stomach, and she said, Dad, I felt bad. She said, and Chris, man, he was laying there, and he could feel that cover moving.
Oh.
Yeah, but he said he could feel that moving. Yeah, son, he'll tell you that story. That's no joke, boy.
I might have to ask him about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't remember.
let me ask you
them
boys
telling
a
that
question.
story.
When you was growing up younger, I'm going to ask you all the question that I don't know whether everybody had this experience or not.
Yeah.
Have you ever been, before you go to sleep, son? Before you go to sleep, had you ever felt like, you know, that there was a presence with you?
Oh, yeah.
You felt that? Huh?
Oh,
buddy?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
Did I didn't tell you about my brother, did I? Or maybe I did.
I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you anyway. That me and my wife got married.
You talk. Uncle Bud's story.
Uncle Bud's, huh?
Okay, I know this one.
Anyway,
It's
son,
a good one.
we got married. Me and my wife. We moved. We living down the country there, and we was renting a trailer from an old boy by the name of David Allen. Old man I knew, and he was quite a bit older. Anyway, we rented that trailer, so he decided, he said, Bill, why don't you just buy that trailer for me, you know, and you can move it over there on your place over there, you know. That way you ain't got to rent it anymore.
Yeah.
I said, well, how much you want for it? It was a single wide trailer. All they had was 2 bedrooms. And I said, how much you want for it? Well, he said, I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll take $3,000 for it. So I bought it.
Good old days.
We pulled it over there, man. And right now my sister lives there where we lived at. And we put it right there, bud, and we parked it there.
She has a newer house though.
Yeah.
A newer double one.
Oh, okay.
And we parked that trailer there, buddy. And my brother, me and my wife never had nothing happen. Whole time we lived there, the whole time. My brother, we go out that night, we piddle around a little bit, drank a few beer and everything. We come back, it's about 12:30 at night we get back. Boy, it's cold, son. It was cold that night, man, it was cold. So we go in there. Old bud, I said, son, let's hit the sack. I'm wore out. Me and my wife go to bed. We slept all the way to the end, bud. That's where our bedroom was. Well, you walked out of our bed was right here, Chris. You walked here in that door and went down the hallway right here, son. And that other bedroom was right here on the left. And all it was a twin bed, you know, what it was. Anyway, son, we go to bed. My old brother said, son, I'm laying there. He said, boy, I'm just about to go to sleep, he said, man. He said, about that time, he said, boy, he said, and he said, he listened. He said, man, he thought it was me, son. I was up, you know, and he said, I sat there morning. He said, he reached up there and he was trying to hit me. He said, get away from me, Dwayne. Get away from me. You know, that's my middle name, son. Dwayne, they call me. He said, get away from me.
In Missouri, that's what everyone
Yeah,
calls
they call
him.
me Billy Dwayne. That's what they call me, brother.
Dwayne or Billy Dwayne.
Anyway, son, old Bud gets up, walks down the hall, comes to my bedroom, turns the light on, son. You know, Pat both dead asleep right there. He said, son, I go back in and lay down. He said, I walked through that trailer all the way to the other end to the kitchen, walked all the way back, turned every light on. So he gets back in that bed. And he said, son, I was sitting there just about time I was about ready to go to sleep. He said, it was right in my face. He said, I could just feel the heat off of it. Old Bud, he said, son, it went on for about 5 minutes, man.
Oh,
Finally, he said, Lord, he said, please, whatever this is, get it away from me. Son, he wound up putting his clothes on, son. He walked home, went back home. he told me, he would
Decent
never,
little walk through the woods, too.
son, he would never stay with me again. He said, I'm telling you something, son, there's something in that trailer, he said.
oh man.
He said, there's something in that trailer, he said. I tell you what, me and old Bub was walking home one night, son.
Hey,
It was in the wintertime.
Hey, that was before he had that house in between there, right?
What's that? Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
he had to
so
walk
that was a
through
good
it.
little walk through the woods.
That's a good little bridge there, buddy. Yeah, he had to walk
It was
through.
that bad. He's like, I screwed it. I'll take my
Yeah.
chances in the
Man,
woods.
Yeah.
Well, he told me, I got the next one. I said, well, I wonder where he is. So I walked over to the house and I said, what'd you do? He said, man, he said, son, there's something in that house, man. He said,
I would have been telling y'all scoot over. I'm joining bed with y'all.
he told me, he said, you and Pat, he said, man, he said, you better be careful. I said, son, I've never had nothing happen to me.
Crazy,
Anyway, Chris, me
Crazy.
and old Bud was walking home one night. And son, it was in the wintertime. We was coming back from old Gary Reese's house down there. It was 2 o'clock, about 2:30 in the morning. And son, it was cold as a wedge. That old wind was blowing, son, about 20 miles an hour. We got right there by old Hokel's. That's the place right there right before you get home.
Yeah.
And we was going down through there, son. We was walking. And son, all of a sudden, old Bud looks up. He said, who's that coming? And I said, I could see him too, man. You know, son, you can see the silhouette of somebody walking towards you on the other side of the road, you know. And we was walking. Son, that old boy, whoever it was, gets right beside us. Me and Bud, I said, hey, how you doing there and everything? Nobody never said a word. They just kept walking, man, passed up. They just kept going. We don't know who that was or what it was.
God
That
damn.
night, boy. I never will forget that, man. What do you get one of them shiners? I do. Give me a cold one.
Yeah, sensuous. I said sensuous.
Sensuous, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But
Yeah, I'll take one.
that
It don't matter. I'll take
man,
one.
I've heard of stories, Chris. You know, buddy, people tell me that you know, that they've seen it's what they thought man was a man, you know, but they wasn't for sure, you know.
Yeah.
I've heard of stories like that, man.
Oh,
Especially, man, them boys in them woods up there.
Yeah.
But man, there's some woods up there in Missouri, son.
Thanks, sir.
I'll guarantee old Willie will tell you, son. I guarantee you, from here to that wall, if that deer don't move, you'll never see him, son.
Yeah.
Son, you'll never see that deer.
It's funny you say that.
Yep.
All the stories in Missouri. Well, my dad's from Missouri.
Right.
He's got plenty of stories too to
Yeah,
tell
well, son,
about.
there's some stuff up
Some
there, boy.
stuff up there.
Tell you what, man, there's a place right outside of St. Louis.
Yeah.
It's it's on Missouri Bottom Road, man.
Yeah.
And Missouri Bottom Road, just like you hear it, it follows the river, you know, right there, buddy. And it'll take you all the way back to St. Charles. Well, anyway, there's been a many a sightings of a woman on that road, walking at night, and you could stop and roll your window down, and she's crying. And she'll look, you know, she'll look at you, then all of a sudden they say she's gone.
Then she's in your back seat later.
Yeah, she might do.
Are we talking about La Llorona?
No, is
that's-
that La Luna?
No, that's the South Texas one. Though.
Yeah.
But you know that, and another thing they were saying, yeah, I heard about that one there. You talked about that railroad track.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in
I've
San
heard about
Antonio.
that,
Yeah.
There's San Antonio. Yeah,
I heard
There was
that
a
story.
so being in San Antonio. Also, they said the spaghetti warehouse,
yeah,
the original one. They said it was haunted too.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know nothing about that
Yeah.
one.
Tell you what, boys, a few years ago, right up here in Austin, Texas, huh? I don't know whether I think they closed that store down, but it was a Toys R Us.
Huh?
You ever hear about that?
Nuh-uh.
Tell you what, son, they had it on 2020 right here one night.
Really?
And I'd heard about it before that, and me and George had heard about it. They said, man, that manager, you know, he would stay there sometimes at night, a little later, you know, when he'd lock the doors and everything. Said, well, when it first happened, he was standing there doing some paperwork and stuff, man. Well, all of a sudden, son, he seen them beach balls flying through the air. He said, man, he said, you know, he thought, who's in here throwing them balls? You know, he thought somebody got locked in there with him.
Yeah.
Nobody there, man. Well, anyway, man, he goes home, locks the door up and everything, comes in next day, runs that security camera. Sunday balls being thrown all over that store.
Huh.
I mean, everywhere. And son, them little old toys were walking all over in there.
Oh hell no.
Yeah, buddy. And they had that on 2020, Willie. And I believe, if I ain't mistaken, I think you'd have to ask George, but I think they closed that store.
Wow.
That's how haunted that store
I'm
was.
pretty sure there's no Toys R Us is open anymore. So I think
There's
Well,
one.
yeah.
I think there's one.
Where?
There's a few of them. They're coming back.
really
Yeah. Yep.
some nostalgia from the '90s right
Right.
there.
But they're not the original.
Speaking of that,
Son, I'll tell you what.
we
I'll
got
tell you-
some Sam Adams Oktoberfest
I'll tell you,
here.
I'll tell you
We're
something
tearing
else,
down.
Chris. I'll tell you another deal old Chris and Aaron
Also
seen
good for
over here.
Halloween.
I'll tell you another deal old Chris and Aaron seen right over here at my brother-in-law's place. Right there at Oak Grove, buddy. Bright lights over at Oak Grove, son. They 2 or 3 people live there. All right, they were going back home one night. Well, they had to ride. You can go 2 ways out of Albert's place. You can either make a ride up by the barn there and go out this way, or you can go right through the field there.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of rained a little bit, so Chris and them had to go around the other way. So old Chris said, he said, well, we left there. He said, Bill, it's about 1 in the morning. Well, son, they get about halfway there, and Aaron said, what is that out there in the field? Chris said, what is it? He said, Bill, it looked like a green TV, man. He said, all it was green, he said.
Huh.
He said, looked just like a TV, he said. And he said, man, he said, to this day, I don't know what that was.
The heck?
Yeah, man, but son over there and them, Chris will tell you, he said, man, we sure seen that, Bill, he said. And I know Albert, Albert, where he lives,
Yeah.
him and he lived with his daddy there. Well, Albert's been in that house all his life, man.
Yeah.
He was born in that house. Well, his mama died, then him and his daddy was living there together, then his daddy died. Well, Albert said, Bill, for about a year or so after my dad died, he said, I'd be laying there in the bed, he said, and all of a sudden, man, he said, I'd see that bathroom light come on. He said, my dad always got up, Bill, at a certain time, went to the bathroom. He said, all of a sudden that light would go out.
Dang.
And he said, son, you'd be sitting there, Bill, telephone ring. Pick it up, nobody on there,
Yeah.
So Albert told me.
Yeah, I believe that because so my grandpa, my mom's dad, he was a big, cigarette smoker. Well, he had his places out in Harwood. And there was a few nights, it was probably a few years after he passed. I'd go out there at nighttime, just kind of relax, get away from everything. And I'd be walking around and I'd get that hint of cigarette smoke. I'm like, like, the heck? I know there's nobody out here.
Yep.
I'd see the cigarette butt if there was.
Yeah, man.
And I always thought
That's
it was
crazy.
him. He was watching out, making sure I wasn't screwing anything up or doing something stupid.
That's no joke, boy. I tell you what, man, I could be sitting here in this chair sometimes, man, and by myself, be sitting there and maybe watch TV. All of a sudden, son, I'll get a smell of perfume, man.
Yeah.
Real sweet, man. It'll last about a couple of seconds, then it's gone,
Yep.
I
believe it.
Or I'll be walking through here somewhere, man, I like, and then it's gone,
Yep. That's crazy. Oh yeah, I believe this.
Now, Leon Klecker, man, Chris's daddy, man, telling me a story. He said, Bill, my mom passed away. He said, and old Leon believes in, stuff like this too. He said, I believe in that, Bill. He said, we were cleaning her house out, Bill. Well, there's an old saying, son, many years ago it goes back, that people to let you know they're all right, they'll leave feathers around. You'll find feathers,
Huh.
And old Leon said he was going down the road one day. Him and Patsy was coming back. And his mom done been dead about 6 months. And old Leon, he still kind of down in the dumps, and everything. Boy, and he said, about that time, Bill, I reach up here, man, I grab my sun visor, push down to get some paper, Bill. He said, a feather fell out, Bill, and fell in the floor, he said.
Huh.
He said, now how did that get there, Bill? He said. And Patsy, man, she'd be cleaning the house, she'd find him in the bedroom,
Huh.
Pick him up, And his sister, same thing. So she was what's his brother-in-law's name? Old David. She was driving down from Hallisfield, coming back one night. She went to get some chicken. She got halfway home, man. She reached up to pull hers down. The feather fell out of hers.
Yeah.
Boy. But my niece now, my brother told me this. Jalen, they was up there cleaning out my mom's house. My brother was getting ready to move in there. They was taking everything out of there and had a lot of stuff in there, bud. You know how it is. You got over the years, you got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You don't know where to go with it. So my brother was cleaning that out, and in that back bedroom back here, there's 2 closets. You got one in this bedroom. You got one here in this bedroom. They're back to back, buddy. Anyway, they cleaned it out, and old Bud said, son, we had all this stuff cleaned out and everything. Said Jalen goes back there in the bedroom, said, man, it wasn't just a few seconds. She come running out, hollering, and scared to death and everything. And he said, what is wrong with you? She said, I just seen a man back there in that closet. And she said, and my brother said, what are you talking about? He said, I just seen a man back there. And then my brother asked her, said, well, what did he look like? I said, well, he looked like Grandpa, you know. He said, well, Grandpa? He said, yeah. He said, what? My brother had a picture of my dad, you know, everything. He said, and he had a picture of him when he was older. You know, matter of fact, about 6 months before he died. She said, no, that wasn't Grandpa. She said, and then Bud pulls out another picture when he was about 21 years old. She said, that's Grandpa. She said.
Wow.
She said, that's the man I've seen. She said.
And she's never seen him before?
She'd never seen him before in her life.
Wow.
But she said he was standing there just crystal clear, you know. And he told her, he even talked to her, he said, don't get scared, I'm not going to hurt you, he said.
Man.
That,
Do you've ever experienced anything like that yet, Willie?
No.
No?
Nothing that detailed, no. I can't say I have. I had one experience, and Dad can continue deeper into this. But this is here in Texas, and it involved my grandma's house, actually, right here in Shiner.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give a little backstory to it. A man who had lived there before had committed suicide, actually, there on that property. And I don't even know if they knew that when they bought the place.
I don't think they did.
I don't think they did.
Because you know, back then they didn't have to disclose that. But
Yeah, I don't think they did. And, well, that didn't happen. Did it even happen 10 years before? Maybe it did happen 10 years before.
Yeah, at least 10 years, probably.
Before Grandma bought that. That was when they moved her from the country to town. And apparently at night, my aunt lived with her. I don't know if you remember my Aunt Eunice.
Yeah.
They would see a man in the room standing at the edge of their bed, and they would even talk to him.
Yeah, that's
apparently.
no joke, man.
What?
It's
And
true.
his name was it Lloyd or
Who? His name was Louis.
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 His name was Louis.
Yes, it was Louis. And they claim he'd even talk to him. And
No joke, man.
that was the name of the man that lived there. That
Wow.
yeah. Anyway, my experience, I never saw him. At
you
least, yeah, I think I did once. But I never talked to him, never. I just remember one day, and I do remember feeling eerie in that house sometimes. I remember spending the night there when I was a kid, you know, and like you felt like someone was watching you.
Yeah.
That feeling, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Tell him how you seen him.
Yeah. Grandma, you know, she used to just run up and down to Patex all the time. You know, it's just past the church there,
Yeah.
you know, from the Mraz edition. And one day she had to run to Patex for something, and her and Aunt Eunice were in the car. Well, Grandma forgot something. I think she might have forgot her. She's carrying little wallets. She forgot her wallet, and I think that's what it was. She forgot something. Anyway, I went back in the house to grab it, and they had like an open type setup room, like kitchen, the dining room, and then the big living area behind you. That's what you walked in through, and it was just one big open room. And there was a microwave that sat like the counter kind of wrapped around one of those counters from the open end, and that microwave faced, you know, the door of the microwave faced all the open room behind you.
Yeah.
So I walked in from the garage and grabbed, like I said, I think it was her wallet. And I remember glancing up, and I looked at, you know, I just kind of glanced at the microwave, and clear as day, standing in the living room behind me was the figure of a man just staring straight at me.
Right there, boy, you know. Yeah.
And I just stopped and I stared for at least a good couple seconds.
Yeah.
And like, he's just sitting there staring at me. And I just turned around to look to see who, you know, to see this person, and there's nobody there.
Yep.
And I turned back, and I know what I saw. It was a man, clear as day,
Actually,
had a button up short sleeve shirt and like the old slack type pants, and like, I kid you not, just sitting there staring straight at me. And I turn around and nobody there, and then look back, and he's not in the reflection anymore.
Now I'm gonna give you something, son. Gonna make your hair stand on your head a little more now. About the same guy.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah. There's more in detail, and he probably knows more than I do about it.
My brother-in-law, George,
Yeah.
his wife, they'd come down and spend the night, spend the week in there. Well, we never told, George never told Linda nothing about that, about, he knew about it, but she never told her about
Yeah,
it.
I'm sure for a reason.
Because she's a flip apple.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't have been coming down.
Old George said, we go to bed there one night. Billy said, man, he said, about that time, son, something hit that floor. He said, awfulest racket I ever heard in my life, man. He said, what in the world was that, man, Phil? George gets up and he said, man, what was that? He couldn't even tell where it fell at. He said, Bill, I couldn't tell where it fell, man, he said. So he gets up, walks through the kitchen, walks all through the living room, son, nothing's fell. But he said, Bill, that was a racket, man. They go back to sleep, man. Well, old Linda's sleeping, son, his wife. About that time, son, something hits that foot. Like that there. Boy, he said, Bill, she thought it was me, man. She said, George, quit hitting me. He said, what are you talking about, hitting you? I'm sleeping. She said, something just hit me. Well, about that time, son, it hit her again. Hit her again, boy, and then she was talking to George. And about that time, wham, hit that leg again. And she told George, you get up, get ready, we're going home, man.
Yeah.
And anyway, let me tell you, son,
He told me Hunter was real little, remember?
Real little.
And Hunter kept crying throughout the night.
Yeah, he kept crying throughout the
He would
night.
never do that.
Really?
Like something was like keeping him awake too at night.
All right, so old George, he said, Bill, do you know who this guy is? I said, I know his daddy. I worked with his daddy at Casper. He used to be a night watchman.
Huh.
He said, you know him too. He said, who is it? I said, it's Louis Drexler. He said, you talking about the guy from Winnie? I said, I'm talking about the man from Winnie. That was his son.
Huh.
Old George gets in the old Catholic church book, look at the pictures, Gets to going across there. Here he comes, man. Louis Drexler Jr. and wife. Guess who that lady looked just like?
And Linda.
Looked just like old Linda, man.
Really?
Yes, sir, man.
Yeah.
That's no joke, son.
So he'll slap her, like, get out of bed. You're with another man. Get your butt out of there.
So I want to throw another creepy angle to all this. It's that little area right there in town that creeps me out.
Yes, it is.
Just a little bit.
There've been some people killed there, son.
Well, there's been within probably 2 or 3 blocks,
Yep.
square block radius.
Oh, this
There's
is new to
been
me. I've never heard of
Oh, you never heard this?
there's
book?
been at least 3 suicides
At
now.
least 3 suicides.
Like the
man.
recent ones that?
One was recent. It was a murder suicide.
Wow.
I won't get into names
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
respect
yeah.
to families,
Yeah, yeah, I
but
know what you're talking
yeah. And then back about late 90s, early 2000s was the one about 2-3 blocks. Wasn't that while Grandma was still living over
Yeah,
there?
she was still there, yeah.
I'm trying to think of that one.
Yep.
Huh.
You know what I'm talking
I know
about.
what you're talking about.
Yeah. And then
Boys, I'm gonna tell you
the
something.
family more recently was
Yeah.
literally a little over a full block and a half down the same
About a
street.
block and a half, man.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, just right there, all in that area, man.
Yeah.
What block are we? What street is that?
So is that St. Louis?
That's St. Miller down through there.
Yes, that's the main drag when you go past the church.
What was that?
okay, yeah, yeah.
It's
So-
on that main drag here, but
Grandma's house was 4 blocks past the church.
something like that, yeah. I'm not for sure. But it's,
Okay, so there's a house there's a big open field and a big house back there.
you see,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right when you
in front
got to
that
the edge
house,
of that, right when you got to the start of that little field, Grandma's house is across the street.
right across the street
okay.
there, bud, yeah.
And then there used to be a game warden that lived right next door to her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good game.
I know
His
what you're
last
talking
name was
about.
Peterson. He's
Yeah.
not related to
Yeah.
the coach or anything
Yeah,
in town,
yeah,
but at least I don't think they are. I don't know, but it's not the same family I'm talking
Yeah.
about. But yeah, the game warden, their last name was Peterson, lived
Yeah.
right next door to her, and it was just a small 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. And it wasn't on the corner. There was 2 houses. That was a weird block because there's 2 houses not on the corner.
Chris, I thought that girl lives there now.
Okay.
She bought that place.
Yeah. I couldn't remember who lived there now.
So I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you what a man told me one time, and I never will forget that. And it's been years ago, and I still think about that today. He said, "Bill," he said, "some families, Bill, are cursed." He said, and he told me that.
I
He-
agree.
He said, And I always think about that when old Albert's sitting over here talking to me. We was sitting there one night, son, drinking coffee, and old Albert out of the wall blue, man. He said, Bill, he said, how many people you know that committed suicide? Well, son, you got to think about that, man,
Yeah.
Son, old Albert sitting over here, son, he just kept going. He said, how many I named off so far? I said, that's 60. He said, he just kept going. 80, 90, 100, 115, 125 people, son, he knew who committed suicide. Oh. And he just kept naming them off. He said, if you want me to, so
He's sitting there like, who are you talking about?
he said, if you want me to, so I can keep going. He said,
Dang.
that's no joke, man. But a guy told me one time, I never will forget. He said, Bill, some families, man, are cursed, he said.
I remember the one in Moulton about 10, that was probably 10, 15 years ago, wasn't it? I used to buy hogs from him.
Yep.
You remember that one?
Yep.
Middle of the day.
Yep.
I remember hearing the news.
Yep. Old boy stepped out behind his house, son, killed himself.
I don't think it was very pretty either. I won't get into detail.
I know Albert told me, and I didn't know till Albert told me, he said, Bill, his daddy committed suicide and his uncle committed suicide.
Yeah.
Really?
Same family.
Yep. I think a couple of my show pigs came from them. Yep.
That's what I say, son. A man told me that one time. And he was serious as he could be, boy.
Yeah, I could see that being true.
It's kind of crazy, man.
That's the one that I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's but man, there's I just don't know, I guess some people, man, son, you can get so depressed, I guess it can happen, man,
Yeah. Dang, that's just crazy though. I didn't think about that, but that
Yeah.
little part of the area,
Yeah.
Shiner, you're.
That's
never
a
knew
nice
that.
little creepy angle about our little town right here to throw
mean,
on a Halloween
I
episode.
don't know.
I know about the Gaslight Theater. I heard Coach Wingate told us the stories.
Yeah, I remember hearing a few of those.
Yeah, somebody got shot up there
Yeah.
and some other stuff. But
I'll tell you another place,
That
boy.
is creepy about that part of town, right?
yeah,
You talking about San Antonio?
yeah,
Is that the Manger Hotel?
that's another one I've heard about too.
But
Yeah.
old George stayed there before.
Really?
Man, he said, Bill, he said, he said, what's bad when you go in there? He said, Bill, you already got that on your mind,
Yeah.
And he said, man, I was trying to go to sleep at night, man. He said, he said, man, is you don't know whether you're hearing something for sure or it's in your mind.
You're psyching
man,
yourself out. Yeah.
Right.
But he said, son, you hear stuff in that place all night long, man. He said,
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I was trying to think, son, let's see.
Be like that movie. Was it 1408?
Yeah, 1408. Yeah, 1408, buddy. Then, let's see, Willie, am I thinking, is that the Manger Hotel? Or that one room somewhere you can leave and come back and it's all changed around? It's having the people before? Or am I thinking of Myrtle? That might be the Myrtle Plantation in Louisiana.
Man, no, I've heard of a hotel
man.
in San Antonio.
Yeah, I think it's like
that
it.
too.
I think that's a Manger, but
It might be. I can't.
There's
think.
that don't sound right.
a lot of
But anyway,
so
son,
many haunted places.
they was talking to a couple that they stayed there. They went there, so they took their clothes and everything. Had laid their suitcases out. They went out to eat supper that night. Well, son, they got back. Son, everything changed. Son, her clothes was already put up. Son, they was already in the closet.
Something put their clothes up.
Yeah. And they called out and asked to the people, was they up there, and said,
Yeah.
we ain't been in your room.
How do you tip a ghost?
Well, this old boy said, he said, they go to sleep that night. Well, we're getting ready to leave, he said, Sunday. So they take all their clothes, man. He said, put it in their suitcases, he said. They's going to go down and eat dinner, come back up and get it and leave. He said, when they go back up to the room, he said, all their clothes is back in the closet.
Oh man.
And it's like that ghost didn't want to leave,
Yeah.
Wanted
Telling
to
y'all
stay,
y'all gotta be staying.
Yeah, like wanted to stay, man,
Stay a little longer.
Yeah.
But man, I'm not sure whether that's a Manger or not. I can't think right now.
Is it in San Antonio?
It's like Hotel California.
Yeah. You can't leave, buddy.
You can't leave.
Yeah,
You can
can't
try,
leave,
but
yeah.
you can't
Yeah,
leave.
you can't leave.
You
son,
can check out, but you can never leave.
Yeah.
That's a bad song, ain't it, buddy? You can check out.
Dang,
but
I
you
should have
can
made
never
that our
leave.
song.
Yeah, should have made Hotel
Ah,
California.
dang it.
But
Dang.
boys, man, that there's crazy things happen out there, man.
Hey, Go back to Missouri. Tell them about Clayton.
Oh, I'm fighting, buddy.
I don't want you to forget about that one.
Oh, okay.
That's,
Let me
that's,
get it.
that's a good one.
I tell you what, man, my cousin up home, buddy, he was still living at home, son. Everything. He was in high school, everything, and his dad was still living, and everything. That house too, son, was just my Uncle Charlie and them. When you walk in that house right here, Chris, like you walk in this door, right here, son, to the left, son, they had a bed. It was all open, you know. You walked here was a bed, here was a living room, right here was a kitchen. You just walk by that bed, you make it right there was a kitchen. Well, old Clayton, son, you made it right, walk through the living room right here. Old Clayton slept in that bedroom right here. One of his sisters slept over here to the left through this door right here, and there was a bathroom back here. Well, old Clayton, he said, son, I was sitting there, went to bed one night, he said, sitting there, boy, and he said, I was just about to go to sleep, he said.
This isn't even the story I thought he was going to tell.
And he said,
go ahead.
He said, man, I was sitting there just about to go to sleep, and boy, and he said, man, I was getting ready to doze off pretty heavy. He said, about that time, he said, son, I felt something hit that cover, he said. I thought it was Dad, he said, down there messing with me. And he said, man, Dad wasn't there, he said, and everything. He said, oh, what's going on? So he said, I was just about ready to go back to sleep, son. And he said, boy, about that time I felt something, he said, pecking me on the chest, he said. I said, oh, son, I'll wake up, son, this little man looking at me. He said, son, he's looking right down at me, he said, scared me dead. He said, I reached up, tried to hit that little son of a gun. So, son, he just took off running down the side of that bed and jumped off. He said, just that quick, he said. He said, son, he was evil looking. Said, them eyes were just evil. He said, oh, I looked under that bed and I could see him under that bed, he said, son. He said, I finally got up and I was trying to get him out from under there and hit like this here, he said. He said, hitting him and everything. He said, boy, and he said, about that time he jumped up on the bed and he said, old Clayton's son, he said, he was hitting me again. He said, son, he would hit me in the chest, he said. And he said, son, and then all of a sudden he said he was gone. He'd never seen him no more.
Oh,
and son, old Clayton is 72 years old. He'll still tell you that today.
Holy crap.
He said, to this day, really, I don't know what that was, he said.
Oh, a little leprechaun or was it South Park, the Underpants Gnomes? You remember that episode?
Yeah.
Little guys come steal his underwear at night.
Which one you want me to tell you? The one he's at back in the woods?
Yeah. That's the one I thought you...
I think you told... Oh, he didn't tell it on here, but yeah,
No, he didn't tell it
I remember
on
you telling
here.
us about this one, yeah.
But anyway, man, son, old Clayton, he hunted all of his life. And him and his dad, they hunted together and everything, and they coon hunted together and everything. And old Clayton, my uncle passed away, you know. Anyway, and old Clayton's son, he's still, I'll make it a little bit more interesting, but there was a 30-30 Marlin deer rifle. And it belonged to my dad and his daddy. They took turns. One year my uncle would use it for deer season. Next year my dad might use it for deer season. Well, anyway, his daddy passes away and everything, and old Clayton was still hunting, and he had two blue tick hound dogs. And them son of a gun, a tree of coon, they could, I mean, they was on it. When it happened, it's going to happen. Well, he leaves out one night in December. Boy, it's cold, man. He heads behind the house back there. You know, like we lived here. Uncle Charlie lived here, and his grandpa lived here. You know, well, all this woods, son, behind here, man, that's 3,000 acres of land right there. That was owned by a big tire company out of Alabama.
You're talking that was also straight behind Grandma and Grandpa's.
Right
Yeah, they all live.
Yeah, they all live like in a line there. You know?
They live next
all that
door,
land's
yeah.
right behind them there. You know. Son, old Clayton, he waits till about 10 o'clock at night when the little coons are really stirring. You know, he gets out there, boy, and he lets them old dogs go. He gets that old 30-30 loaded. He said, Billy, I had 12 shells. He said, I had 5 in the gun, 7 in my pocket. He said, I'd take walking back here, and he said, man, he said, we walk, he said, probably a mile and a half, he said 2 miles. Man, I heard them dogs, he said, they was almost a Lodi, man, he said. A Lodi, from where my mom's house is, son, if you go through the woods right there, it ain't but about 4.5 miles. But if you drive to it, it's about 17 miles.
Cool.
Yeah.
But you can walk right up through there, son, you're a Lodi already.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, buddy, we'll get to that here in a little bit after this one. I'll tell you another story. But anyway, son, on Clayton, he get out there, man. He's about that time, Billy. He said, it's about 12 o'clock, man. He said, man, I ain't walking with them dogs. I said, man, they're almost low down, man. He said, you could barely hear them, Billy. Boo, boo. He said, but they was treed, he said.
Yeah.
He said, man, I ain't walking that far. He said, man, it's cold as all get out here, man. He said, man, he said, it was about 19 degrees, he said, Bill. He said, I was up there. And anyway, he said, son, it was just, that moon was so bright. He said, son, it was just like you could drive at night. He said, son, it was so bright. And he said, man, he said, he crossed. He said, Billy, I crossed that second crossing. You know, I said, I know where you're talking about. I said, you're on the other side of that big old field right there. He said, yeah. He said, I crossed that crossing right there. And son, them woods back there, Chris, son, are real thick, man. Mm-hmm. Man, they are thick.
I can confer.
Yep.
I've been back there before.
I'm telling you, son, them trees are like this, son. I mean, they are thick, boy.
They're thick.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, man, he was walking, and that tire company I was telling you about that owned that land, well, years before that, they brought dozers in there. Well, they made roads in there. Well, them old roads already was wore out, but you could still walk, you know. When he was walking on one of them roads, you know. Man, he said, I sat down there and he said, I waited on them old dogs. I waited and I waited. He said, I looked at my old watch. He said, man, it was 1:30 already. He said, I'm going to go home. He said, them old dogs come back by themselves, you know. So he said, I get up. He said, I was about 2 miles back in there, man. He said, I get up. He said, I go back across that old lower crossing there, he said, going up that hill there. I said, I know where you. I said, yeah. He said, about top, Billy, I got about top of that hill, man, he said. I heard something out there. Every time he'd take a step, it'd take a step. And he said, I guess that's them old dogs, you know. So and them old lights back in, son, you remember them big old long chrome flashlights you'd carry?
Yeah.
Had them about 8 batteries in there?
Yeah.
And that's what he had on it.
Yeah.
Old Clayton, son, he shines out there, boy. He's looking, he said, son, I'm looking like this here. And man, I don't see a dog one, he said. So he said, I guess I must be hearing things. So he takes off and walking about that time. He said, Billy, I walked about 30, 40 feet. He said, I'd stop, it'd stop. He said, I mean, Billy, it wouldn't take another step. He said, I could stop on a dime, it'd stop. And he said, man, I sat there for a minute. And he said, who's out there, you know? He said, I called 3 or 4 times, man. He said, I hollered real loud. He said, who's out there, you know? Had that light. So he said he started walking again. All of a sudden, they started walking with him. So he stopped. By that time, son, he got a little scared, you know.
Yeah.
He shot 3 rounds at 30-30 out through there. Not through them woods, you know. Mm-hmm. He said, I hollered again. He said, hey, you know, this is gone far enough, you know. He said, who's out there? And still no answer, boy. So he said, son, I started jogging a little bit, he said. He said, son, Billy was right there with me, he said. Never missed a beat, he said. He said, I stopped. He said, it stopped. But he said, by that time, son, he got in a pretty good run. And that sucker was running. He said, I could never see nothing, Billy. I could see out there, man, but I couldn't see nothing. And he said, and right there, son, when you cross that next little drop right here, or going up that hill right there, son, you can see his grandpa's place. And he always had a porch light on all night. Old Clayton and son, I was so glad to see that porch light. He said, I got halfway up that hill, Billy, going to grandpa's place. He said, all of a sudden, man, I heard something turn, he said, and it started walking back the other way. He said, to this day, he said, I don't know what that was, man. He said, to this day.
You imagine being that far in the woods and something walking step for step with you.
But he said,
you could never see it or find out what it was.
But he said, Billy, he said, I could see out there in them woods, man. He said, I mean, I could, that moon, he said, but you couldn't see nothing, man, he said.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, we talking about low dives, huh? My brother used to rode horses a lot.
It's a Creedence song, by the way.
Yeah. Anyway, buddy, well, they'd ride up that same place where them boys would hunt, you know. They'd ride them horses. When him and old Donnie Ease was riding, man. Well, once you got up to Lodi, to where he was riding to, there was an old man that lived there by the name of Little Arthur Bennett. He lived in a little bitty shack, man. He had a twin bed in there. He had a little bitty 2-burner gas cook stove. He had a little bitty wood heater and a refrigerator and a freezer. And he had 3 lights in there, boys. All he had. Well, son, to get to his place, son, you had to go through some rough and dark spots, buddy, to get to where he lived.
Wow.
Son, old Bud said, son, he said, we rode up there, and he said, it started getting dusky dark on us, And he's talking to old little Arthur there, and he said, boys, he said, you boys might just want to spend the night, he said, Bud said, no, we can make it back, little Arthur. He said, well, he said, I'm kind of worried about it, and then my brother said, well, why are you worried about it? He said, I don't know, boys, I've lived back here all my life, he said, and I've been hearing something back here, and I don't know what it is. He said, I've never heard this before, he said. And old Bud said, what do you mean? He said, I don't know. He said, that's what I'm trying to say, boys. I'm kind of worried about y'all heading back. He said, because I've been hearing something back there, and he said, it's the awfulest sound I ever heard in my life, he said, when it turns loose, he said. And he said, and some people's been missing some sheep, he said. They've been finding them dead in the field, He said, it ain't no cow, and he said, it ain't no wolf, he said.
Chupacabra.
But old Bud said, son, we wound up spending the night. but he said we wound up, yep.
He probably just really wanted them to stay the night.
But I tell you what,
He just wanted to hang out.
I tell you what, but boys, where
Drink
he
a few
lived.
beers, boys.
But let me tell you something, where he lived back way in there, man. He didn't have driver's license. He walked out and in.
Yeah.
We talking about the same. You told me a story about taking a fella home one night.
That was another guy.
No, okay. That was
Oh,
where
yeah. He told us that story before.
he didn't tell it on here though.
No, he told us about that guy.
Oh, maybe you did tell it on here.
Yeah,
you
y'all left a bar or something like that.
Yeah.
Hey, little.
Yeah. That was him. Yeah.
That's the one I'm thinking
Yeah,
of.
he left you $20 on the seat or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he sure did. Man.
That was on here.
yeah, that was on there.
Yep, sure
Okay.
did, bud.
Yep.
But boy, man, it's man, I've heard stories, boys, of friends of mine, man, that hunted and up in that part of the country, fighters, they do a lot of gigging
Yeah.
on the rivers, and everything. And my cousin, old Lloyd Allen, God rest his soul, he's been gone a while. My son, he was a big gigger, boy. And son, you gig when it's cold as a wedge, so them fish ain't gonna move, And you get up there, man, and you gigging fish and everything, boy, and old Lloyd.
Cold as a wedge.
And he said, and old Lloyd, he said, Billy, he said, you ever been on this river before, man? He said, and heard things you never heard before. I said, no, I haven't, Lord. He said, well, son, he said, I was down there the night I was gigging. He said, I was down there by Panther Crossing, he said, you know where that old high cliff is there? I said, yeah. He said, man, he said, really? He said, they was something, son, let a racket off the top of that hill. That he said, it wasn't no panther and it wasn't no cat. He said, I don't know what it was.
Huh.
And he said, then come to find out, old Buck Rhodes lived in Greenville. He told Lord, I heard that same thing, he said, I know exactly what you're talking about. He said, I heard the same thing one night. He said, it made the hair stand on my head. He said, I don't know what it was.
Hey.
But boys, I'm gonna tell you something. I believe I've never encountered nothing, but I believe, son, that you get in some of these places, like where people don't go,
Yeah.
they don't tell them what might be in there, boys.
Oh, yeah. The Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah, boy,
Definitely.
They ain't no telling.
Ozarks.
Banjos. You hear banjos around, boys.
Son, hey, son, there's a lot of stories about them Ozarks.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Oh,
There's some
man.
serious,
I know.
there's some serious stories about them out there, Chris.
My grandma lives up there. And I've experienced
Yep.
with the people over there. It's like, yeah, I'm like, all right, mind my P's and Q's around here.
You know.
Yeah.
I tell you, man, they was talking one time. We was talking to Uncle Grady. That he's another one, been dead a long time. He's been gone a while.
Don't you love the names?
boy-
Grady, Claude,
And boy, and that old man knew a lot, man. He just knew a lot. And we was there talking. He said, man, he said, Billy, did you ever hear the story of the Mingo man? Okay, Mingo is a Mingo swamp, son, down south of Poplar Bluff.
Yeah.
It's a huge swamp. It's about 15,000 acres.
Dang.
Well, anyway,
A lot of history there, too, by
yeah.
the way.
Oh man, let me tell you, boy. And anyway, man, I said, Uncle Grady, I never heard of that. He said, well, let me tell you. He said, when I was a young boy, he said, me, my dad, and my uncle, we go down there and we'd fish, you know. He said, we'd go down there and fish and everything. He said, I remember one night, said it was getting kind of dusky dark, and we was there, and he said, my dad said, you know what, we need to get on back to the car, get this old flat bottom boat loaded up and get home. Well, my uncle said, no, said, these fish are biting. He said, let's stay a little longer, you know. So they stayed a little longer, and he said, you can still barely see, he said, but he said, about that time, said, my uncle hollers out and said, what in the world's that on the bank, man? He said, Billy, I was about 13 years old, he said. And I look up, man, he said, and I see something that looks like it's 12 foot tall, he said. He said, big long arms, he said, almost past his knees, he said. He said, they were just sitting there looking at us, he said. And he said, and we got home, and Dad told me, he said, don't you say nothing to nobody. Said, all they're going to do is laugh at us, he said.
Y'all crazy.
And he said, Dad, that was for real, he said. He said, I don't care, he said. Well, he said, we didn't say a word to nobody, Billy. He said, we down there in town one day, he said, down in Greenville. Down there, he said, old man Emerson White. Old Emerson fished a lot down there. He fished that part of the country too down there. And he's down there, he said, no, this is how old Emerson talked, you know. Well, he said, boys, have you caught any fish down there, he said. And Uncle Grady said, well, we caught a few. He said, well, he said, I want to ask you a question, he said. Have you seen any strange activity down there?
Oh, shit.
And he said, Uncle Grady said, no. He said, you haven't heard anything strange or seen anything? And he said, because I'll tell you something. He said, I was down there here about a month ago, and I don't know what I seen, boys, he said. He said, but I seen something that looked like it was 10, 12 feet tall. So finally, man, Uncle Grady, he was a kid, you know.
Yeah.
But he just pops up out of the blue. He said, we seen that, Mr. White. We seen that. And then he said, y'all seen that? He said, and then as the years went by, Uncle Grady told me, he said, more people seen that.
Huh.
But they never knew what it was.
Man. The Mingo Man.
The Mingo Man, they called it. Now, boys, right over here at Artine now, did you ever hear that story?
No, not teen.
I've heard you mention it before, but tell the story.
Right,
I don't know.
If you get into Texas folklore, son, this is supposed to have been seen a many times, called the Artine Swamp Man.
Or a monster. Yeah.
Artine
I
Monster.
haven't heard this one.
Artine Swamp
That's
Monster.
no joke, son.
My great grandma, she used to work out there. And,
Did she?
yeah, I don't remember hearing the story.
Yeah, son, it was called the Artine Monster.
Huh.
Yeah. You remember Drew bringing up the Wild Man of the Navidad?
Yeah. I've never heard that story either.
Oh man, I have to find it. It's from like 2002. It's like an old article about it. And,
Really?
That's no joke.
They believe they captured him, and it was an escaped slave.
Oh,
Yep.
really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh.
He was like stealing like supplies and like food and stuff from like people's like smokehouses and stuff.
You know what
and,
they
like,
talking?
Yeah, all on the
Chris,
Navidad River.
Huh.
They was talking, you know, man, like my grandpa. He was born here, son, in Cleburne, Texas. Till he was 9 years old, they moved, son, to northern Arkansas. That's where they moved to.
Izzard County.
And man, and where he lived and was raised at, son, I mean, there's absolutely very, very little there. And man, I tell you, he told me some stories. He told me some stories about in that place, son. It was crazy. He said, "Let me tell you something, Bill." He said, "They stuff out there. They stuff out there." He said that people never see in their lifetime. He said, and there's stuff out there that people do see in their lifetime. He said, and it's hard for people that to believe that's never seen that, you know. He said, but there's stuff out there, he said, because I worked with some guys, he said, and I know them fellas wouldn't lie, he said, you know. He said, they have seen some stuff out here, man, that'll blow your mind. My daddy, man, one time was working, cutting logs down at the lake. And, man, I wasn't even born then. Him, old Freddie Moss, from up Lodi, he was cutting logs for Dad. A little Arthur Bennett was skidding. They were down there, man, and old Fred said, "Son," old Dad said, "Billy, who's that walking up down there through them woods coming this way, man?" He said, and old Dad said, "This old boy, son, just come out of nowhere." He said he just kept walking up, man, walking up and stopped there, and he said, hey boys, he said, if you knew what was in these woods at night, he said, you wouldn't even walk to your car at night, he said. He said, if you knew what was in there.
Wasn't that like an Indian man?
An Indian. No, he said, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they never seen him again.
And wasn't it real close to dark or damn near
They were
dark?
getting close to dusky dark. He told my dad and him, he said, boys, if you knew what was out here, he said, after the night, he said you wouldn't even walk out to your car, he said.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if they were hunting or down there. Like you said, they were logging.
They was working, yeah, man.
Yeah, my
They were
grandpa
working
was a
at that.
logger, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's no joke, Chris. He said, man, my dad told me, he said, all of a sudden that old boy just out of nowhere, he said, he appeared, yeah.
You know, speaking of logging, I was talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Dad kind of had his own moment with that.
Yeah. What's that?
He said, you kind of had your own little scary moment with something like that, huh?
A chainsaw? Yeah, I'd cut my leg off.
Yeah, he
So-
sure
Oh,
did.
damn.
Yeah, boy, I got about 100 stitches right here, bud.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I almost lost my leg.
Yeah,
I tell you what,
got a
son.
scar on his leg there.
I tell you
huh?
what, son, if I could open it up and show you, it took a little chip out of that bone. That doctor said, man, son, he said, you don't know how lucky you are, man, he said. He said, that would have caught that bone, he said, it would have went on through, he said.
Yeah.
Son, that's no joke.
Yeah.
But man, now little Arthur Bennett today, they were skidding them logs, buddy. Old little Arthur Bennett said, that's what I've been trying to tell you, Billy. He said, I tell you, I hear something up here at my house. He said, I don't know what it is out there, son. He said, but there's something out there. Said, you know, that old boy just out of the wall of blue, you know.
Oh,
Now,
the
boys,
guy,
now,
the
boys,
guy that
I've
came
never,
out of the
now,
woods.
boys, I've never seen a Bigfoot. Art Bill, man, I was coming home one morning. Some of these two old boys called in, man, talking to Art Bill. Told him, yeah, we did see one. And what was really strange, after I heard that story, we went up home. Thanksgiving that week, me and Pat, you know, and everything. We didn't have no kids yet. And I listened to Art Bill, and I was telling Pat, I said, man, I heard a good story, man, last night coming home. There was two old boys from DeSoto, Missouri, which is just ain't too far north of my mom's there. They said they said they was hunting. They said they come across two Bigfoots. They said we seen both of them. No, Art Bill was talking to him, man, for about 30 minutes, you know, back and forth, man. He said, anyway, man, 2 or 3 months past on, we go up home for Thanksgiving. Well, deer season started back then, it started the week of that Monday, the week of Thanksgiving, and it went to the end of the month. Well, I went up there to hunt, you know. Well, anyway, we get up there. I get there, man, and I was going to hunt with old Donnie Hughes, my cousin, and old Fred Tibbs, another cousin of mine. Old Fred, man, was a bad guide, man. I mean, that dude, he could find game, and he knew where they was at, because that's all he did was live in them woods, man. You know, from day in and day out, man. And he would, and that dude, son, when he would hunt, I don't care how cold it was, he always wore slippers, man. That's no joke, buddy. Son, that's no joke. And when you'd hunt with him, Chris, son, every 20, 30 feet, he would stop, son, he'd build a little bitty fire. And he'd warm his hands, and he'd stomp that fire. Son, that fire wouldn't be that big around. And he'd stomp it out, you know.
Huh.
He'd go another 35, 40 feet, he'd build a fire, and he'd warm his hands, you know. Huh. Anyway, man, we was there, well, we got there, me and my wife got there like that Saturday. Well, that Sunday, I got with my brother. I said, son, who we going? He said, we're going to go with Donnie and Fred. He said, you know. He said, Fred's going to take us, you know. He said, he knows where these deer at. So anyway, old Fred comes up there to the house Sunday evening about 3 o'clock, you know. We sitting there talking. And he said, Billy, you ready? I said, I'm about as ready as I can get. He said, man, man, I got a story to tell you. And old Fred would always had something, man, you know. And I said, yeah, I said, what do we got? He said, man, I've been in the woods, Billy, for 3 months, he said, every day. He said, from daylight, he said, sun to dark, he said. And he would stay there, sometimes, sun to 9 o'clock at night in them trees, man.
Dang.
And he would stay there late. And Joe Eads was the same way, man. If you hunt with Joe, you might as well plan on not getting home, son, about 10 o'clock at night. Because he would sit there, son, till 8:30 at night, man. Well, anyway, son, old Fred, that's just how he was. He was like I said, man, he was a guide and a half, boy, you know. And he said, man, I got a story to tell you. He said, you know, I've been doing this all my life. He said, you know how I hunt? I said, yeah. He said, Billy, I was back there at the Mill Rock, man. He said, one day last week, he said, well, the Mill Rock back here, I guess, Chris, from before you parked your car, man, it was probably 2 miles back in there. And what the Mill Rock was a big old sandstone rock, man, and that's all it was, you know. There wasn't another rock around back there in them woods. That's the only one you see.
Huh.
And that sucker was probably 8, 9 foot high, man. Well, they called it the Mill Rock. But he said, I was back in there, Billy. He said, son, I was tracking these deer, he said. He said, them son of guns, man, he said, I went past the Mill Rock, he said. He said, actually, man, I was getting into places I never had been before, he said. He said, I was already about 4 miles past, he said. He said, man, I knew I was getting deep in there, he said, at that time, he said, I really didn't know where I was at, you know. Well, he said, man, he sits down. He said, I get that old fire going, he said, warming my hands up, he said, man, sitting there. He said, I reached in my pocket, he said, man, to get me a cigarette, he said, to light it up. He said, about that time, man, he said, I hear a racket, he said. He said, and a lot of racket, he said. He said, man, what is that, you know? Said he's looking, boy, he said he's trying to see down through them old woods. He said, boy, and he said, I'm sitting there smoking that cigarette, Billy. Looking, he said, boy, and everything. He said, man, it gets quiet, man, he said. Billy, he said, Billy, they wasn't even a bird chirping, man, he said. He just got just like that, he said. He said, Billy, he said, you could have pecked them leaves, he said, you could have heard it for a long ways, he said. He said, about that time, man, he said, I hear another huge racket, man, like just limbs busting, man, he said, you know. He said, man, he said, what is that? But old Fred, he never was scared of nothing, you know. But he said, man, I started getting a little worried, he said. He said, I knew no deer would do that. And man, he said, about that time, he said, man, I look up, he said, I'm looking down through there, boy, and he said, I'm checking it out. He said, I get the glimpse of something, he said, that's walking, he said. And I could barely make it out, he said, man, he said, all I could see, it was dark looking, something dark, he said. And he said, and it was up on 2 feet, he said, Billy. He said, it was walking, he said, man, he said, and I said, son, what do you think it was? He said, I think, Billy, I've seen a Bigfoot. And that son of a gun son was serious as he could be.
In the pine.
And I knew where he was at, man, but I knew where that Mill Rock was at.
Yeah.
And son, old Fred was done to 2 miles past that already. Son, he was in there.
It up there would be real easy to walk for miles and miles
Oh,
back
man.
in some
Yeah.
woods
I'll tell you what,
and
Chris,
never
buddy.
see nothing.
I'll tell you what,
Another
Chris,
house,
buddy,
nothing.
there's another place called the Flatwoods.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, and it's just like I'm telling you, son, it's flat as this table right here. But buddy, I tell you what, if you walk in there, son, you'll start turning around looking and you don't know where you're at.
Oh, I believe it.
Son, you are lost, man. I tell
Probably
you what,
like walking around in East Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some places.
Yeah.
now, and you know what's crazy? Because you could see, and everything, you know, but you can walk in there a little ways, man, you don't know which way to go no more.
Jeez.
I mean, you're sitting there, you know, like a lot of guys, when they leave that car, they look at that compass, you know, buddy.
Yeah.
Then they get there, man, they just make a complete, you know, to find that same location. And that's how a lot of them get back to their car, you know. Because it's crazy in there, man, because everything looks the same, man. Everything looks, I mean, son, you can look straight ahead and, son, do a complete 90 degree turn, and, son, it looks just like this.
Oh.
Son, you can do this way, it looks just like that. All them trees look the same, you know. It's crazy, boy, you know.
I saw some woods like that in Texas when we went hunting last fall.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for like the couple bayous that ran through
Yeah,
there,
boy,
which
man,
were
you know.
like natural borders,
Son, you
I
can
could
get
see
lost, man,
you
know.
get lost in there
Oh,
real
yeah.
easy.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a, you know,
Piney Woods. and
yes,
everything,
like a
yeah.
white oak,
Yeah, boy,
like,
you know,
Yeah.
'cause you're seeing the same thing, you know, you know, boy,
like
it's
a
easy.
like a mixture of like of oak and like pine and
Yep.
yeah, all in it. And
Yeah.
what really, like I said, the natural barriers where you could find your way around is when you started seeing cypress trees.
Yeah.
Because that's when you knew there's a
boy,
bayou or something. There's a river
Yeah.
bottom
Say,
right here.
boys, we next to water here somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang.
But yeah, man, it's
But if you didn't have those bayous,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, dude,
Yeah.
everything in every direction looked almost the same.
Jeez.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, boys, if you get out there, you get out there by yourself, you know, Chris, and you sit down, you know, and and it don't take very long, buddy. All of a sudden, you get the feeling, son, that there's something here, you know.
Yeah.
You hear this, Netflix? Here's y'all's next Survivor series right here. Stick all them.
The Ozarks.
Dude, that'd be interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
it
Drew, you want to
actually
do
would.
this?
Yep.
Bang, bang, bang.
But you know, man, it's it's crazy. Is you know, like me myself, boys, I've never had nothing like that. I've never experienced nothing like it. You know?
Well, okay. Tell them about a little dream you had taking Molly out one night.
I might have. Did I tell you about that? Man?
We haven't.
He told me about a story.
We barely touched the alien aspect of this show, or of the creepiness.
Maybe it was your mom or something like that, and she would always sleep on the couch.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's another story.
That's another story.
I
I was
remember
going
him
to
telling
ask.
us that one. Yeah.
Did he say it on the episode?
No,
or-
it was after it.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
another one to tell too.
I'm gonna tell you. Well, I'll tell you about it. It's
Go ahead and do that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
right now.
that. Yeah, my mom. Matter of fact, same place my brother lives.
I have
where-
experience sort of with that.
where she where my niece seen my daddy. Same house. All right. And matter of fact, the same niece seen the same thing my mom seen.
Same room, man.
Same room, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, buddy, my mom, when I
It was
started
my
going up,
grandma's bedroom, grandma and grandpa's bedroom.
when I started going up on vacation, I asked my sister, I said, why does mom sleep on the couch, you know? And she said, I don't know. Mom never told nobody. I said, Mom, you ain't got to sleep in there, man. I said, you go ahead and sleep in your bed in there, and we can sleep in this bedroom, you know. I said,
Well, yeah, and she did it with me too.
and she said, no, you go ahead, so I'll sleep on here, you know.
You know, one of the last times I was up there as an adult, she did the same. I was sleeping on the couch, remember?
Yep.
And she come in there on probably 2 or 3 different nights while the week we were there. Same thing. You want to go? You know, it'd be more comfortable in my bed. I'll sleep in here, and I'm like, Grandma.
Well, anyway,
Like,
boy,
you know, I didn't know. I'm like,
Yeah.
Grandma, like, I'm not gonna take your bed. Like, you know, you sleep on your comfy bed. I can handle the couch or the recliner. I think she did sleep on the recliner one night.
well, she slept on that recliner a lot.
See, I slept on the couch and she slept on the recliner one
I
night.
didn't know that
while I
till,
was in there, and I never knew why.
and I didn't know that son until about 6 months later.
Yeah,
And Trisha said,
I think it was after that trip.
But anyway,
Yeah.
she told me, she said, I said, Mom, you don't have to sleep in that. I said, man, you can sleep in here, you know. She said, no. She said, you go ahead. She said, I'm going to sleep right here, she said. And I said, well, man, Mom, that couch is hard on you, you know. Man, you know, that ain't good for you. Well, she wouldn't. I said, anyway, man, so we get back down here, and a few months later, I was talking to Trish on the phone. She said, hey, Dwayne, she said, I found out why Mom's sleeping on the couch. I said, well, why is she doing that? She said, well, she said, there's something in that house.
Mm-hmm.
She said, there's something evil in this house, man. She said, and I said, what are you talking about? She said, well, her and Jalen went to sleep, and she said, man, she said, something woke her up. And she said, she looked down at the foot of that bed, and she said, it was just a dark shadow coming up over the foot of that bed, and them eyes were just glowing at her. And she said, Jalen woke up and seen it too and got scared. And Mom, you know, they all just covered their heads up, you know, and Mom stayed there for a while and undone, and it was gone, you know. And ever since then, man, she wouldn't sleep in them beds, you know.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I don't know, you know, like I say, man, you know, but yeah, Mom, she told Trisha, knew. Now, old Mike Diamond, son of my brother-in-law, he said, I'm telling you right now, Billy, I don't go in that house. He said, there's something in that house, man. He said,
You remember that middle bedroom?
yep,
I've heard so many people terrified of staying in that damn middle bedroom.
yep.
I guess Wyatt sleeps in there now.
That's where me and old Bud used to sleep when we was kids. Me and my brother.
Like over the year, I mean, I was always creeped out of that room. It was blue. It was painted blue inside, and like I don't.
Son, old Mike
There's
Diamond.
always some creepy feeling in that room.
Old Mike.
Never in Grandma's room though. That's
my-
what got me when I see. I found that out after coming home too. That's why she kept coming back there asking me if and offering me to sleep in there.
Yeah.
Like, you setting me up, Grandma?
But me and Pat slept in there, you know, nothing happened, you know. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but anyway, man, that old Mike Diamond, and old Trisha said, ask old Mike, she said, about that place over there. She said when he starts down that hall, He said he'll get halfway and come out. He said, "There's something in here, man." He said,
You know, there is something. I ain't been. Well, I went in there when we were up there a few years ago with Uncle Bud. I went over there. There is always something creepy about walking in that damn hall.
that hallway.
I know what Mike's talking about. I never turned back and went back the other way, but yeah, I'd always just finish going down the
Just get
hall.
that eerie feeling.
There was that old
Yep,
radio
yep,
right at the end of that
yep,
hall,
yep.
and it's like something about walking down that radio and that like 1940s freaking
You're
radio.
waiting for it to turn on.
That
Yeah,
old
it's like
radio,
it's-
that old
it's-
radio's right up here, buddy.
Yeah, Aaron and Chris got it.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
You just waiting for that song to pop on, the peeking through the window or whatever that creepy song.
Hey, Chris, my Uncle Leon ain't woman, old Michael was down there. Mom was still living there, you know. Well, they decided they're going to go to town and get something to eat, you know. That Uncle Leon said, man, he said, Dwayne, we sitting there, and he said, man, all of a sudden, he said, man, there was flies everywhere. He said, I'm talking, son. He said, I'm not talking, son, 5 or 6 landing on the table. He said, I'm talking, son, they would just cover you, man. He said, what is going on here? And I said, and when he told me that story, man, it put me in mind of the Exorcist.
Yeah.
In that room, son, you know, with them flies.
Yep.
Son, old Leon said, where is these flies coming from, man? He said, the room was full of them. All of a sudden, man, the whole house was full of them. Uncle Leon, he said, man, we was trying to open the doors and get them out. Uncle Leon said, I pulled that curtain back, Dwayne, in that closet right there, man, behind that stove, bud. He said, son, it was just black with them, he said in there.
Oh, in the living room.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah,
right there.
She had that cloth that
He
always
said,
went
son,
over.
he said, Dwayne, he said, it was just black with them in there.
Wow.
Well, they got out and opened the door and everything, went to town to get something to eat, and they come back, they wasn't a fly one in the house. Uncle Leon said, that's no lie. He said, Dwayne, he said, every fly was gone, he said.
See, you're leaving out one very important detail that I'm gonna bring up
What's
about how close was the Trail of Tears from Grandma's and them's place right there.
Trail of Tear runs probably, it ain't too far back here.
I didn't think it was.
Yeah, it ain't too far, son. They had a lot of deaths on that Trail of Tears, son.
Yeah. I mean, even anywhere near it.
Yes, sir, boy, anywhere near it, boy.
We're talking about a trail where
Yeah.
hundreds, if not thousands, of Indians perished.
Well, I'll tell you what, son, if you get over there,
Cherokee Indians.
Cherokee, get
On
in
top of
there.
that, yeah.
They said, son, that matter of fact, that ain't too far behind Mom's there.
I didn't think it was.
That
Y'all told me that.
you know
many
something
times.
else, Chris? You know that
It adds a little compelling thought to every story he's just told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hey, son, you know something else that's crazy?
Creepy thought.
You get back in there in them woods, son. Well, son, there's old railroad dumps back in there. And son, I can take you right now and show it to you if they ain't dug it up. I can show you right now, son, and I can show you railroad tracks
Yeah.
out there in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Out there, son, in the middle of the woods.
There's a lot of deaths on the railroad when they were building it.
Now, I'll tell you something else, bud. If you walk behind Uncle Ivan's sawmill right here, and you keep walking and keep veering to the right, keep walking and slowly go to the right, you're going to go about 2 miles. You're going to come up on a pipeline. And them pipelines up there, son, they're high and they're deep, you know, Chris, you know. They could do this, you know.
Yeah.
Up and down. Well, son, old Gary Reeves, my cousin of mine, he was hunting on that pipeline one day, deer hunting. And he started sitting there, Billy, he said, I thought Paul was coming out on the down there at the bottom. He said, which son, it might be 500-600 yards down the bottom down there, you know, off the top of him, but they're steep, boy. Son, he looked down there and said, all of a sudden I looked up, man, and he said, what is that crossing down there in the bottom of that? And he hollered at it and he said, hey! He said, hey, who is that? And he said, it was running. He said, run along, you know. And he said, looked just like a man. He said, but it didn't have no gun, he said, you know. Said, run along and everything. And said, it just turned and looked at him kind of funny. He said, son, I remember that thing had a vicious face, man, he said, and old Paul, here come old Paul from the other side walking. And he said, I thought you was crossing. Paul said, no, he said, I decided to go around this other side. And old Gary said, I'm telling you, son, there's something out here with us. He said, I don't know what it is, man, but there's something out here with us. Earl King's place. No, I got plenty here, son. I'm good. Another place back there, Chris, is Earl King's place.
Yeah.
Earl King, buddy, had a place back here, and but my brother was telling me this story, and this happened about 2 or 3 years ago. And the people that lived back there, well, they rent that place, and son, it's probably about 2.5, 3 miles back in there to get to Earl King's place off the main highway there, and it's all solid woods, man, till you get back here. Well, man, all of a sudden they got home one evening, man, and son, they had 4. Their dog, son, was torn all to pieces. 2 dogs, son, was just ripped up. They had 2 sheep, tore all, both dead, and they had a calf killed.
Yeah.
And man, they said that they called up the game wardens and everything to come out there. And that game warden said, man, I've never seen a cow, man, tear something up this bad, you know.
Yeah.
Man, he said, man, these are mangled up bad, you know.
Especially all at once.
And man, then the tracks they found, they wasn't cow tracks, man. They wasn't wolf tracks. And then but the old boy that lived there, well, he decided to put some game cameras up out there. So he left him a sheep out there. He had sheep, but he didn't have any more dogs, you know. They killed him dog, but he had some sheep out there. So he put that camera out there. Well, all of a sudden, man, about that night when it got dark, boy, they heard a racket out there. Them sheep boys acting up, making all kinds of stuff. Well, he gets out there, son, he turns the light on, gets a flashlight and shines out there. Well, he shines out there, man, he said, man, it looked like a half cat and half dog. He says, what it looked like, man, he said. So that sucker had a tail, he said, about 3.5 foot long. He said, man, he said, but it had a mouth, he said, had a mouth like a dog and a body like a cat, he said. And he said, man, he said, as soon as I hit that light, he said, man, that thing looked at me, man. Said he just hunkered down in that tall grass, man, he never seen it, you know.
Yeah.
Chupacabra.
That's what I was thinking, chupacabra.
But now, you know, that's another thing, you know, that kind
Blood
of
sucking goat.
Yeah.
that kind of come and went, you know. That chupacabra deal, you know.
Yeah.
They come find out, I think they said that, what, mangy cows or whatever they said it was.
they said
Yes.
I suppose it was a mangy coyote.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that big special, like, it was that lady in Cuero.
Yeah.
It was
Right,
about the chupacabras,
right.
yeah. They just believed it was a
Right.
little
Yep.
mangy coyote.
Mangy, that's what they were saying. Now, son, I'll tell you what, we was coming home here one day, me and Mom, right up here. I seen one of them suckers up here, and that sucker's son didn't have no hair on him. He crossed up here by old Blossom's Hill up here. Right there, tall.
I know there for a while they're pretty bad.
Yeah, they
Coyotes
was, man. You know,
The
yeah.
mange,
yeah,
the
mange
mange
is
was real
bad.
bad.
Yeah, damn.
But boys, you know, buddy, I mean, there's a lot of stories out there, but
Oh yeah.
there's a lot of stories.
And you didn't tell them about we're gonna do a little twist here, a little change of getting to the alien side of it.
Oh, the aliens. Yeah, man.
Tell us about this. It was a dream of yours.
Son, that was a dream. I guess it was.
Was drinking involved before
I
this?
think it was a dream.
No, man.
How does every story where people are abducted start? They think it was a dream.
Yeah.
Son, I'll tell you what. I woke up and or I thought I'd woke up. Put it this way, you know. And I got up, man, and old Molly, little bitty dog I had. And boy, she would.
She was a little Pomeranian Chihuahua.
Oh, I remember her.
You remember her?
Yeah,
Yeah,
little Pomchi.
So she buried right out here.
Yeah.
Anyway, son, she had to go out bathroom. I remember, boy, she was chirping, man, and I looked at my watch, man, it was 1:30. I remember. I said, son, we're done. I better get up and take her outside and let her use the bathroom, you know. So we get up. I open that old trailer door over here, and I go out. We go down the steps and get right back there past that oak tree right there where it's open up, you know. Mm-hmm. And we're just standing there, boy, and I said, hurry up, girl, go to the bathroom. I'm ready. I want to go back to bed. And so, man, we sitting there, and, you know, she running around out there and everything. She still hadn't went to the bathroom. And about that time, man, son, a super bright light, man, just come down. I mean, man, I couldn't even look at it, man. I like, gosh, dog, man. I said, what in the world? And I'm sitting there, boy, and I'm looking, and boy, and it's like all of a sudden, son, I'm looking at old Molly, and she's getting further and further away from me.
Oh,
And I'm like,
man.
what's going on here, you know, man? And that boy, she's just looking at me, just yapping, just barking, jumping up and down, And all of a sudden, man, it's like all of a sudden the light's gone, And man, son, I'm in a room that's just solid white, man, and it's a huge room, boy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's real big and it's real high ceiling, boy, and everything. And I don't see no doors. I'm looking in there, man, where am I at, And that not a door one in there, man. So I'm standing there,
The Matrix.
Hey, man, I'm in my underwear, dude. I'm standing in my underwear there, buddy. And standing there, man, had Crocs on. I still remember that, man. I was standing there, man, had my Crocs on and everything, had my underwear on. And about that time, man, I hear something open up, Here come two little guys, man, about 4 foot tall. They walk along, boy, and come up there, man, they look at me, and then they look at each other and beady, beady, beady. And one's pointing at me, and he's looking at the other, beady, 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 and everything. And they're both talking back and forth. And I'm like, hey, what's going on here? And then they tell me, well, then they take me, walk me over, and man, there's a table, They tell me, just lay down on, they tell me, lay down on the table, And, well, they just actually stood there. They didn't really say, because then all of a sudden another guy comes in, and he could talk. And, boy, he had like a real dark black suit on, man, and had.
Was he like them, 4 foot tall?
No, he was taller. Yeah.
Was he actually a person?
Well, I guess, because he could talk to me.
Okay, I was just curious.
And he said, he told me, he said, sir, just lay down on the table. He said, we just want to check you out, and everything. And I said, well, wait a minute, man. I said, why am I here? He said, well, this ain't going to take very long, he said. He just lay down, and then all of a sudden, man, here comes two more. One get on this side of me, and one gets on this side of me. And they're taking a probe deal, man, and they're touching me like here. What this one does here, and here, Then he touches me in my temple. The other one touches me in the temple, And he said, then he's talking to them in another language, talking to them and everything. And they're back and forth, and he said, okay. He said, sir. He said, we've got what we need. He said, everything's going to be okay. So all of a sudden, man, they leave, man. And all of a sudden, man, it just like in a blink of an eye, man, I'm looking down, man, I see old Molly, and I'm getting closer to her, All of a sudden, I'm back on the ground. Then about that time, bud, man, I'm shaking my head, and I'm in bed.
Dang.
Man, I was sweating. I remember woke up, man, I was just soaking wet.
Huh.
And Pat said, what's wrong with you? I said, oh, man, I said, man, I had a dream you wouldn't believe, man. And my mom used to always tell me, said, you sure it was a dream?
Yeah. I think we all tell them that all the time.
Yeah.
You sure it was a
Sure
dream?
it was a dream.
Did they ever send you a medical bill?
No, they were just it must have been a dream,
Free
buddy.
health care.
But I mean, I never woke, Chris, son, I woke up, son, I was just soaking wet.
Dang.
And I was like, golly, man,
Maybe that was the government trying to try out a new healthcare system.
Healthcare system, man, yeah.
Mobile healthcare.
Boy, they got a big deal about that healthcare, ain't it?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, they got a big deal about that.
Yeah.
That's a major thing right
That's
there.
a scary thing right there.
Yes, it is, boy. That's a scary deal right there.
Oh, man.
That's a scary deal, boy.
Why
Let
is
me tell you.
everything so terrifing?
I know.
Yeah.
Perfect for Halloween.
Right? We don't even need scary stories anymore.
It's already happening.
You know what's going to be real scary? I know we're getting off topic with it, but November 1st,
Oh, yeah.
when they're cutting off the cards,
Yes, sir, boy.
that's going to be scary.
Cutting off the cards.
The EBT cards.
Yep.
And,
Oh,
yes.
might be a little chaos.
Yep.
I got a feeling there's going to be some chaos, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Son, you don't
I might
make
need to
trouble.
keep some things loaded.
And stock up on some food.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go to get some food, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Boys, I'm telling you, son, that it is the way things are going, son, something getting ready to happen.
I agree.
I agree that, don't you,
Uh,
Chris?
Me three.
So everything going on, and
Yeah.
I mean, even going back to the alien thing, it's like, what was that? Atlas Atlas, whatever that rock, whatever it's supposed to be going
Oh
around.
yeah.
You haven't seen anything about that?
Yeah, isn't there a comet or an like something?
Yeah, that's
nearby?
what it is. It's Atlas.
I tell you, boys,
Can
I'm
you
gonna-
see it right now? Are you supposed to be
Yeah,
able to see
you
it?
can see
Can
it.
you?
Yeah, I think that's because the other night. If I
It only
would've-
comes around like
if
once.
if I had my mind
It
right,
won't happen again in our lifetime.
because I just
Like,
watched the news,
It'll
man.
happen again for hundreds of years.
I was watching the news. If you would have had a set of binoculars, you could have seen it.
Yeah, they said you can see.
If you're in
you'll
the
see
southern
it-
hemisphere, you can see it better.
They
I
said you'll
think.
see the way it's moving. It's like going short end, long end, short end, long end. So when it goes to long end, you're seeing a reflection off of it. And they say usually you don't see that on your comments. It's like a full reflection of the whole
Yeah.
thing. And just the way it's moving. What did they say? When it goes past the sun, it's supposed to speed up, but it's not.
But it's not. ain't
It's
it?
like doing its own thing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
tripping them out. Not what they expected.
Yes.
So I
yeah.
want to ask you a question, you boys. I'm gonna get off the subject here a little bit.
Sure.
I said,
Let's do it.
you boys believe in prophecy?
Oh yeah.
You believe in prophecy, Willie?
Sure.
Yeah.
I tell you, man, is we're living in, which I believe, Chris, I really believe this with all my heart, is I think, boys, we're living in the final days, man.
Oh yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, it may not be in the next 50 years, but
but
definitely.
I think we're living in the final days,
Yeah.
boys. I do.
Oh yeah.
But man, it's just boy, they just stuff happening constantly, boy.
At least maybe in the final days as we know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was I can't remember what book I was reading. I was
Sort of
reading
like
some.
even America as we know it, or the world as
Well,
we know
yeah.
it.
See, there was some stuff I was reading. I can't remember which one it was now. Oh, it's gonna bug me. I was reading one of the chapters in the Bible, and it was talking about how this certain city just went corrupt, and it kind of reminded me how America is going right now.
Right.
Men don't know,
Yeah.
can't choose if they're men or a woman or
Now,
this.
son,
and
I'm
that.
gonna tell you something. That
Talking about the one God burned to the ground.
No, I don't think it was that
It
one.
wasn't that one.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah.
But anyway, fellas, it's in the Bible, man. There was a city called Babylon. Mm-hmm. You remember that, Chris?
Oh yeah.
Now,
One of the seven wonders of the ancient world was the Hanging Gardens of Babylon.
there's
throwing that in there.
there's controversy right now with preachers and everything on TV. They're talking about is that U.S. could be Babylon.
I've read into some of that. I've heard some people talk about that.
Have you
yeah.
heard that, buddy?
Yeah, I have.
Because the reason is, the Bible says that, well, put it this way, all the money goes through, son,
Yeah.
New York. All your money, son,
Yeah,
goes
stock
through
exchange.
stock
Yeah.
exchange.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Babylon was.
Yeah.
And in the Bible, it talks about that well, God will crush Babylon. He will crush it. He said it will be none. There will be naught. He said in 1 hour.
Yeah.
Everything will be gone, man. Now what he's talking about, son, talking about all the riches, man. Everything will be naught.
Yep.
Could it be sometime after a socialist gets elected mayor?
Hey, let me ask you a question, boy. This old boy,
You know what I'm talking about.
That
Yeah.
old boy up here in New York. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's the deal on that?
He's what, Muslim and a socialist?
Yes.
Well, son,
Muslim
let me ask you boys a
socialist.
question. You ever watch an old boy named Scott LeBedo
No, I don't
from
think
New
I have.
York up here? You ever watch him? Son, you need to get him, son.
Huh.
Son,
I'll
he'll
check it out.
he'll tell you about that old boy.
What?
You see who in Ireland, was going on, we're getting off way talk, but what happened to Ireland, right? What they elected, their new
Where, Ireland?
the new president,
No, I don't
or
know.
whatever they call him.
I don't know who they
It's
elected. Prime minister, maybe.
prime minister. It's a foreign minister, foreign lady who's all for immigration. And Conor McGregor was supposed to be running for president over there.
Oh, is he?
Yes, and he was for let's get all the immigrants out of here. Let's bring back. Basically, he was saying if this keeps on going the way it is, Ireland won't be Ireland.
No, it
anymore.
won't be Ireland.
No.
Yeah, everything's gonna be gone.
Yeah,
All the,
everything will be gone.
Same thing in England after Charlie Kirk. They had the big march that
Yeah.
the government claims there's like 200,000 and they claim there's 3 million there
yeah,
marching.
yeah,
And it was mostly about immigration reform. And to quit bringing in all these refugees, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Whoever they're bringing in.
Yep.
They got a lot of
what,
that going on in England.
I tell you what, boys, what it is, son. What it is, they want to do away with Christianity.
Oh yeah.
They want to do away with that, boy.
Oh, there's been a war on Christianity.
Just for ages.
But I'm telling you,
This is their first time getting so close to
yes,
getting
sir.
rid of it.
Yes, sir.
And that's
Forever.
why they're pushing so
why they
hard
pushing,
right
boy.
now. I
Yeah.
agree.
now, son, I'm gonna tell you. You know what the Bible, Chris says, where Jesus said, he said, in the end days, he said, you'll be persecuted for my name. He said. Well, look what happened, son. Well, look, son, that's what happened with Charlie Kirk right here. Son, they killed him, son, for spreading religion.
Yep.
That's what it boils down to.
It's a big part of it.
That ain't no lie, boys. You know. They actually killed him, son, for spreading religion. You know?
Oh yeah.
That was definitely a part of it.
Yep.
They hated his like he wasn't scared to talk freely.
No, he
No,
wasn't
he
breaking
wasn't.
tongues.
They hated that
And
too.
there was a clip I saw the other day about him talking, and they were talking about Israel and all that, and he even said he kind of stopped and he said, "All right, I got to put this in a certain way. 'Cause I don't want to get in trouble." Well, I guess he had mentioned something about Israel. I really don't remember what it all said, but then a few days later, that's when he got killed.
Yep. But man, it's crazy, man.
Yep,
It is, boy.
it is.
It's getting crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know. Ooh. Well, you want to keep on rolling, or
That's up to you, man.
we got 2 hours right now, so that's pretty good
That's pretty good.
for our first time back in a while.
That ain't too bad, is it?
I would
bud?
say that's a hell of a Halloween episode
Yeah, I
right
think
there.
it is.
Are any of
Yeah.
y'all scared?
Y'all scared?
Are you freaking?
Yeah,
Think hard about them stories back in the woods.
exactly. Yeah, I know, right?
Let me tell you, I'm going on a hunting trip here in a few weeks, and
Yeah, you're gonna go on
it's
one,
similar to the one from last fall. And you can ask Chris, brother, you can ask Jason too. There's just something about walking out in the woods by yourself early in the morning in the pitch black.
Yep.
Especially
And
in an area where you don't
see,
know it.
all you can see in every direction. Yes, in an area you don't know.
Yep.
And all you see in every direction around you is just trees.
That's all
The
you see,
silhouette
man,
of trees and then darkness beyond them.
Yep.
And you're walking a mile, 2 miles back in the woods. It's kind of like what Dad was talking about, some of these hunting stories with Clayton, cousin Clayton,
Let me ask
cousins
you
in
boys-
Missouri
ask you boys
family.
Another question while we're here.
There's just keep that in mind when y'all are walking them. Well, y'all got deer blinds, probably most people, but
Yeah.
there's something about walking to a blind you just set up in a place you don't know.
Yep.
There's something about that.
Let me ask you
And I'm
boys a
gonna
question,
experience that again in a few weeks.
Let me ask you boys a question. Have you ever been sitting, son? I don't care where you've been sitting at your house, or you're sitting out in your truck, or you're sitting somewhere, and had somebody feel like somebody touched you, son.
Oh yeah.
Son, you ever done?
Oh yeah.
I know, man.
Oh,
ain't
yeah.
it?
Just jump out of nowhere
yeah,
and you're
boy,
like,
yeah, boy, you know, man.
and then you
like
sit
somebody
there,
touched you, though, man.
sit there and think for a second, like, dude, I'm tripping, man. Like,
I need to go to bed.
Yeah, boy. I mean, son, you can feel it, you know.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Something
Yeah.
touched me, you know, yeah.
yep.
Yeah, that hair will start standing up on your arms and
That's
your
right, boy.
back of your neck.
That
He's
ain't
sitting
no-
there telling that story about my grandma, not wanting to
Yeah.
sleep in her room.
Yeah, boy.
Like
Yeah.
I was there and then find out like my hair was like the hair on my neck was standing with him telling that
I
just
got
a
a
few
good
minutes
one.
ago.
This I didn't experience this, but it was somebody that we both know. He had told me a story. He was, I don't know if he was there or maybe his grandma had told him. His grandma, yeah, I think his grandma had told him there. She was in her house, and she was doing something. She went into her room to go grab something, and in the corner she saw a black figure, a shadow, red eyes. And just standing there looking
That's
at her.
the same thing my mom said.
She was paralyzed.
Yeah.
She couldn't move. And I think what he said, she was doing the rosary and
Yeah,
all
but-
that. And she was trying to reach for her Bible. And what it was, she thought it was a devil.
Yep.
Yeah, or
Yep.
a devil or a demon of some sort. Yeah.
Yep.
And in that same house, yeah. So in that same house, I think his stepsister was in there and like two other girls. Well, they had happened to do that Bloody Mary challenge. You remember that?
Oh,
Yeah,
in
saying
the
it-
mirror.
Yeah, saying
Oh,
it 3 times with
shit.
the candles.
Oh, man, boy.
Well, they all wake up in the morning, scratches on them.
Yep. Well, boys, let me tell you something. Have you ever heard the old saying, Chris? You know that don't play around, man, on Halloween night.
Oh yeah.
You heard that story, boys?
Yeah.
Yep. Tell you what, man. That we get into I'll get into another place. There's a place in St. Louis called it was a family lived there, and they wealthy man. They own a brewery, and you know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Limp.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, man, that you can stay there.
Yeah, it's another haunted place.
Yeah, you can stay there, buddy.
I mean, St. Louis got some haunted places.
Oh
too.
yeah, it does.
Almost all of that family's done committed suicide there.
Jeez.
Okay, what happened was, you remember 1929? Stock market fell. Mm-hmm. So they lost everything they had. And they all committed suicide there.
Holy crap.
When you went in that house, you could tour that house. When you go down son in that basement right there.
Remember when we ate there?
I remember when we ate there.
Huh.
So we went down that basement,
There's a restaurant there too.
and everything down that basement, son, was theirs. They saved all that stuff.
Wow.
So first thing you see when you walk through that door on the left-hand side was a Ouija board.
Oh no.
That's the first thing you seen right here. Son, that thing was right here.
That was left there for effect. I'm
I
sure.
told
Oh,
my
sure.
wife, I told my wife, I said, check this thing out. I said, look here. But during Prohibition days and all that there, you know, Chris, well, that guy made, he was still brewing beer, but there was only certain people could buy it.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like the old theory here at the Shiner Brewery that there was an underground tunnel that connected the wireworks back to back to the brewery.
I believe there is.
I believe so too.
And that,
Yeah.
I tell you what, boy, that old St. Louis got some serious scary spots in it, boy.
I believe
That
it.
sucker downtown, man, them old buildings down there, some of them old buildings, son, they've been empty for 50 years, probably. Down there.
Yeah.
Ain't you, Willie?
Oh,
And
yeah,
they
at
all
least.
got, and I tell you what, I'm trying to think old George, he drove by there, but he didn't stay there, man, was the Stanley Hotel down in Colorado. Of George drove by there.
Isn't that the one from
The Shining?
The
Shining?
buddy,
Yeah.
Yep, that's the one. But old
Oh, man.
George, he said,
Jack
I drove by it, Bill.
Here's Johnny.
Yeah. He said, I drove by it, he said, and I've been inside it, he said, but that's all it was, he said.
Huh.
He said, but I've never stayed there.
Man.
But lots of people, Chris, they interview, so we didn't have nothing happen to us, you know. Some people says, man, said, we did.
Hey, you don't think we'll get too close to that comment and we'll have our own version of Maximum Overdrive in 2025, will we? Bringing back another old shitty horror movie. I call it shitty. It was shitty in a good way. It was a classic.
Maximum over that truck, buddy.
Yeah.
The goblin on the front of the truck.
Yeah.
Man,
Earth was caught in a comet's tail, and that's what made them all go crazy.
That dadgum machine gun shoot by itself.
Yeah.
Son, I'll tell you what. I got to say one thing. Son, old Stephen King's got imagination.
Was that one of his?
Yes, sir, boy.
it was.
Stephen King.
That was his too?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, boy.
God, dude.
Son, that sucker, son. Well, when he wrote The
The
Shining,
master
how he wrote
of
that,
like
don't you?
horror and thriller, I swear, dude.
You remember how he wrote that, Chris?
I remember reading about that.
Son, they was interviewing him.
Yeah.
And they said, man, how did you come up with that? He said, well, I'll tell you how I done it, he said. He said, I was sitting in my house, he said, upstairs trying to write this book, and both of my daughters running through that house 100 miles an hour and wouldn't stop, he said. He said, I told my wife, please take him, I can't write, And he said, all of a sudden, man, bang, he said, something hit me, he said, you know what? He said, and then he put down, that when they stand at them stairs, it had it said red rum,
Yeah.
That's how he started coming through all that, boy,
Just murder backwards.
Yeah.
Son, that sucker can write, can he?
Oh, yeah, he can.
Boy, he can
He's
write.
twisted.
He's
I
twisted.
was sitting
boy.
there going through stuff, just off of like Amazon Prime's like, playlist and whatnot, and looking up horror films and shit. And it's like, God, it's like every other movie was something originally written by him.
Oh, yeah.
Or a screenplay written by him. It's like, what
and
the hell?
every movie he's made, son, he got a little part in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in there somewhere.
Kind of like Stan Lee.
Yeah.
You know, the old Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
You know, man, tell you what, boys, I was watching Twilight Zone here, quite a while back. And, man, I was watching the one that come on, man. It was about this vines, man. They was growing, taking over houses, man. Just cover them up. Well, I'll be dead gum, man. Son, he was starring in that Twilight Zone show.
Really?
Yes, sir, man. Stephen King.
Wow.
He was young, man.
Huh.
That's son, I think the first book he wrote was Carrie, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I think that's
I know he wrote Carrie. I think
that's the first one he wrote, man.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Then he had that one about that car, man.
Christine?
Was the movie called Carrie or was it called Prom Night?
It was
No,
Carrie.
It's called Carrie. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Maybe there was a
Carrie.
Yeah.
maybe there was a sequel called Carrie Prom Night 2 or something
remember-
like
Probably
that.
was.
Yeah.
Son, you remember that one he wrote about? It was the name of that movie was a book too, man. Called Sometimes They Come Back.
Oh,
Did you ever see that, Chris? Did you ever see that, Woody?
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Son, I tell you what, he's a school teacher, man. He's a new school teacher.
Isn't that the one with old Mark Hamill in it?
No, he ain't in this one, no.
Oh, he played in one of them movies.
Anyway, buddy, this
This
new school
sounds
teacher
Stephen
comes, takes
King.
over school, man. Well, he's doing high school. He's there, man, and everything, and you know, and all of a sudden, man, he gets 4 new students, 4 new good guys, man. You know, they come in. It's back in the '50s, you know, man. They had leather jackets on, had that hair slicked back, and they come in, and they sit down, and they're sitting there and everything, you know, and he said, we got some 4 new guys. He said, good. He said, what's y'all's name? He said, told him their names and everything, you know, and he said, where y'all from? He said, well, we just come up from Morganville. But boy, he thought that was a town, man, you know, and it was a cemetery.
Oh.
He said, man, we just come up from Morganville. He said, I said, oh, that's good. He said, we're glad to have you. He said,
Didn't the movie take place in the 80s? But
yeah, true, but these guys were dressed like
they
the
were
50s,
dressed
yeah,
like
yeah.
it was the 50s.
And they sitting there, boy, you know,
Yeah.
man, and it kind of found out, man, they was some bad cats, boy.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to look that one
And
up.
that's a good, yeah, because sometimes they come back.
I remember this movie now.
Yep, old Stephen King, boy, then he wrote
You sure that didn't have Mark Hamill in it?
I ain't mind him. I don't
Well,
know.
he's a little older.
He also had, boy, he also
this
wrote that one, Dreamcatcher.
Yeah.
You ever see that movie?
I read the book of that one.
Hey, son, that's a weird movie.
It is.
Son, that's a weird movie right
It
there,
is.
boy.
Oh, yeah.
That is a weird movie.
Yep.
You know, man, you're sitting there watching that, man, and all of a sudden, man, when things start happening, it's a slow motion, but
Yeah.
everything, man, just slows down, you know.
Yep.
And man, it's like it kind of messes with your mind a little bit, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But boy, but that was a good, dream catcher.
No, it was Tim Matheson. Okay,
Yeah, that's who was in
Oh,
that.
okay.
They asked him.
my bad.
Didn't he write Pet Cemetery also?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
See, Pet Cemetery is one of my favorites.
Yeah. So that had old
Yeah.
the Munsters old boy played in there. What was his name? Old Fred Gwynn.
Yeah.
Him-
Yeah.
that old guy, yeah.
Yep.
Old Fred Gwynn, buddy.
You know they did a remake of the Munsters
Yeah, they did.
with Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
Rob Zombie.
Rob
redid
Zombie.
It.
Oh, I
It's
didn't,
actually pretty decent.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what, that's crazy, man.
Yep.
But
He,
that's
he did a lot of remakes like Halloween. He did remake of Halloween.
yep.
And it was actually really good. Probably the best Halloween movie.
Monsters. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Rob Zombie, buddy.
Yep. Then all his other crazy
I'll tell you another
movies.
old boy that played in a lot of scary movies. You know Sid Haig?
Sid Haig.
Yeah, remember old Sid Haig?
Man, the name sounds familiar.
So that guy played in lots of movies.
Was he a bald, kind of
Yeah,
bald?
bald-headed, buddy.
He played in Rob Zombie's movies.
Yeah, I think he did.
Captain
bud.
Spaulding.
He might have, buddy.
Look him up.
Yeah.
Willie. My phone's dead.
Look up. Who am I looking for?
Look up Captain Spaulding. And see what his name is.
Yeah, it might be. It might be him, Sid Haig.
I think it is
Yeah.
because he just passed away, man.
Yeah, not too long ago.
Not too long ago.
Sid Haig.
Spaulding. Fictional character,
Yeah, what's his?
including
Who's?
from one from a Rob Zombie film, another from
I think he did play in a lot of movies. What's his actual name?
Sid Haig.
It was first portrayed. Oh, apparently, it. I gotta find the one you're talking about. Because apparently it shows up in something else
Huh?
as well.
Oh, really?
He was pretty good in the Rob. If it's him, he played as Captain Spaulding. He was good.
Yeah, old Sid Haig, crazy man.
Yeah, he was doing those movies, and he was
Sid Haig, yeah.
Oh, okay, so it was him.
That's old Sid Haig,
Yeah.
buddy. Yeah.
House of 1,000 Corpses.
Yep.
Yeah, or 1,000. Yeah, House of 1,000.
You ever watch
Corpses.
those? I'm sure you did. Klecker,
Yeah.
I know me and Klecker were talking about it a while back. We were watching those movies.
Yeah.
They were good.
The old Sid Haig, buddy.
Yeah,
31.
that's who it was.
Yep.
Yeah, he played in a lot of movies, man.
Oh yeah.
He played in a lot of horror movies. Buddy.
Yeah.
That's what he
Yeah.
played. He had to look for it, Chris, He had to look for it.
Yep.
Then you had man, old Stephen King, boy, that dude, yeah, he could write, son.
Yep.
Yeah.
Boy,
Yeah.
boy, he got an imagination, man.
That goes without saying.
Yeah.
Man, he got an imagination. I tell you, another guy, man, was good. John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy. That's Halloween Man.
Yeah, it is him. Yeah.
John Carpenter.
Yep.
Wes Craven.
Wes
Yeah,
Craven,
Wes
buddy.
Craven. Yep.
You want to go a little further back? Alfred Hitchcock.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Brandy and I just not too long ago watched the. Did you see the little mini series or season they did on Ed Gein?
No, I haven't watched
That's
that.
correct. No,
I try to avoid those.
that was a good
shows.
one too.
Who's that?
Ed Gein.
I don't know.
You
It's
ever
like,
heard of Ed Gein? Yeah, they're talking about how so many people don't realize everything he inspired.
yeah.
It's crazy. And it's not, sadly, after looking up facts, so much of it's not factual.
Yeah.
But it was a Netflix series that came out.
What's it called?
Ed Gein. Well,
He's the one that was a clown, ain't it?
no.
Who is that one?
No, you're thinking of John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, John Wayne
I'll be
Gacy.
dope, man.
That was in the probably 60s, 70s, Gacy. But Ed Gein was in the 40s, or late 40s, early 50s. And Gein was, he was pretty much, he was a body snatcher. He would go dig up corpses. He actually did, for sure they know he killed 2 women.
Wow, boy.
Yep.
And it digs into the history of why he was the way he was. His mother was super controlling and super religious. That much was true.
Wow, boy. That's crazy.
She didn't believe in her sons, like that it was a sin for them to get married or sleep with women at all. Like just creepy shit. Tried to keep total control of them. And
Yeah.
anyway,
crazy,
of
boy.
course you can imagine he became loony over all these type of
Man,
things.
I
And
could imagine. Yeah.
Yep.
I think they said
Man, oh man.
he finally confessed to robbing or attempting to rob up to like 40 graves over a series of years. And he would make, he actually made like furniture items out of their skin.
Man.
He would wear skin over his face and try and dress like a woman in women's skin.
Wow.
He was twisted.
He
Yes,
had
he was. Huh?
they had to throw this fact in there, and you looked it up. He preserved 9. Let's just say he mutilated women's bodies,
Yeah.
and he preserved
man.
certain things, sexual parts. Yeah, it gets pretty. Of course, when they caught him, they were looking for a woman that was missing in town that he did kill.
Yeah.
And they kind of showed the scene of when they go through the house and then they find her in the barn. She was literally like hanging up like opened up like a deer.
Lord have mercy, man.
He was literally like boiling some of her organs to preserve them.
neat,
Yeah, this is a bad dude. This is a bad dude.
You know, Chris, we talking about.
But all the movies that were inspired by him,
Wow, boy.
really, like
take over Charles
Psycho.
Manson, buddy.
Psycho
That
was
dude
inspired by.
made a killing, man.
Yeah.
Off of movies and books,
Yeah,
man.
Yep.
Alfred
Well, actually,
Hitchcock.
his family did.
Alfred Hitchcock came up with Psycho
Psycho, boy.
because of him.
Really?
Supposedly, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was partly
tell you what.
like came off of him. The
wearing
wearing the skin face, Texas
Old-
Chainsaw.
that old Anthony
Yeah,
Perkins,
leather
man.
face. That was
Yeah,
human
yeah.
skin he was wearing.
Yeah.
That came from Ed Gein.
Ah.
That's old Anthony, man, what's his name? Anthony Perkins, man, played in Psycho.
Yeah.
Anthony Perkins.
Huh.
That-
Dang.
But man, you talk about, we talking about, like, you talking aliens a while ago, everything, that, well, up home, Papa, up home, there's a place called Clearwater Lake. You know where's that?
I know what you're about to talk about
Yeah,
too.
but that's 18 miles, Chris, from my mom's.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something, son.
Really good meat market over there, brother.
That's the second largest place in the United States, son, where UFOs have been sighted.
Really?
1972 or 3?
Now, well, they've actually been spotted, son, even in the 90s. And I didn't know this here, son. Did you know? And that Chris caught this, son, when he was watching on TV, man, on the History Station, on Alien History.
Yeah.
You know where the first crash was? Alien crash? It was in Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
Oh, really?
Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
Yeah,
man.
that's where my aunt lives at.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, son, my mom.
Really? We got family up there
Yeah.
too.
Now, son, my mom lives 40 miles from there. That's where I was born and raised, right there.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Huh.
Well, son, the first ship they actually encountered crashed was right there around Cape Girardeau.
I'll be damned.
That's no joke.
So
Son, they said they've seen
this is coming
spaceships
from-
going in that lake and coming out of that lake.
That's crazy.
They said people have seen that.
Huh.
I'm going to tell you the reason I'm telling you that, and I don't know how true that is. I was watching TV here, and I was watching a documentary on aliens, these pyramids, and all this stuff here, bud. They was talking, like back then, how did they get that so square, man? All this, man. But so we get this. Well, they was talking to us. It was in World War II, man. They was talking. They was interviewing some sailors back in like in the 70s, and they because they was picking stuff on radar, man. They didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
They thought it was enemy planes and everything, but man, they wasn't no planes there. They picking this stuff up on radar and said, man, we don't know what it is. So there's about 6 of them out there right now, but we don't know what it is. We thought that it was enemy planes. Well, they picked it up on radar. Well, then they get the big radars, man, to pick it up. They'd pick it up and they said, whatever it is, they said it is flat moving. Said it is moving fast. Well, they was interviewing these soldiers, man, on this carrier. Man, they was out in the middle of the ocean, way out there, man. That guy said, man, we actually seen, he said, them spaceships just hit the water, man, and just keep going down, he said, until you couldn't see them no more.
Wow.
He said, we've actually seen the man come out, he said. He said, I mean, they're just like rockets, he said, man, coming out and they're gone, man.
Dang.
And they said they seen that at Wapapilla Lake.
So in early 1973, I think it was February.
Where's that at?
It's Piedmont.
Piedmont, Missouri, man.
The famous 1973 sightings of unidentified flying objects in Piedmont. Scientists have not been able to explain roughly 20% of these sightings.
Huh.
So there's no joke out there, buddy.
And it's
Jeez.
And Piedmont, son, is
in
about
2023, it was Piedmont, Missouri was officially designated by the governor of Missouri as the UFO capital of Missouri.
Yep, UFO capital, but
The initial sighting started with a basketball team, prompted hundreds of reports and a national media frenzy. Today, Piedmont embraces this history with a UFO park.
yep, there's no joke.
There's a
bud.
UFO park
wow.
there?
Yeah, they are out there by the lake. Yeah.
Huh.
I need to go check that out. An annual festival and other UFO-themed attractions, notes the Missouri Secretary of State website.
Dang.
Okay, Chris, back at Piedmont, son, they still got a radio station. That same radio station was there during then.
They have an annual UFO festival.
Yeah, they do, son. Anyway, man, they
Most recent was in April.
the old boy that was DJ back then is he just passed away here not too long ago. His name was Bullet Hovis. And son, he said he'd be all of a sudden, son, that radio just gets staticking. And that man, he said folks were having difficulty and everything. Well, that went on for about a year. And they said, well, there got to be something wrong with this antenna, man, or something. So they checked and they couldn't find nothing wrong. Come to find out, son, it was them UFO activities flying over. They messed that
Messing up the frequencies and all that.
Yeah,
There's the
Yeah.
and then, buddy, and then you know what's really crazy is if you get down to South America, man, and some of them planes, they just spotted that not too many years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When they seen that down there in Peru, they didn't even know that was there. So it makes you wonder, son, about Close Encounters of the Third Kind, don't it?
Yeah, it does.
Is Uncle Sam's son? Are they building stuff for him? But think about it, you know.
Yep, I've thought about it. I've read it. I've looked into it. I went down that rabbit hole before.
I've been down that hole, buddy, before and stuff. But you think about it, son, you know, man, and that's exactly what they was doing.
Yeah.
They had a landing strip, man, on that mountain, son.
Yep.
For them son to come in and land, they talk to him, you know. Then they figured out, man, how they could make him sound, you know.
Yep.
They could talk to him back and forth, you know, man. You
Yep.
know. It's pretty crazy, ain't it?
Yeah. Yep. I think let's close it on that one. Man.
yeah. I think
We're about to jump into some more crazy stuff. But we keep on going,
dude.
Oh man.
We're getting ready to get into some more, boy.
Next time
Next time, yes.
with Wild Bill.
Round.
All right. Aliens and pyramids.
Pyramid, you know.
Did aliens build the pyramids?
Boy, I tell you what, there's some controversy on that, boy.
Oh yes, there
Oh,
is.
There's
so
some serious
much.
controversy on that.
There's a
So
lot.
much.
So, all right, that's a wrap for this ride, y'all. We appreciate you rolling with us on another episode of Backroad Banner, where the talk's real and the story is raw as the road. Don't forget to listen, subscribe, and share us with your crew. We're out there on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, YouTube, and Apple. Did I say Apple a while
Yes.
ago? And Apple. Yep.
Apple.
Yep. So hit up our Facebook page and catch more behind the scenes action on TikTok also. And also, I'm gonna throw this in there. Drew Haas of Native Nomadic is having a massive sale on his tallow right now, trying to get rid of his old brand stock. So go to his website and check out. And before you check out, make sure you put the code in rebranding for a 50% off discount. Be on the lookout for his rebrand, Bullbee.
Yeah.
Be a bull bee. Bring in your real products from real people, all while supporting other hardworking American business and your health in the process.
Hell yeah.
That's all I gotta say. So,
Also, catch Wild Bill dressed up as Santa and some
yeah.
with some photograph session opportunities
Yes.
by my wife, Brandy Leach Photography. You can find her on Facebook. There's still some openings for those sessions on November 15th.
I think we signed up.
Yeah, y'all are signed up for one.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean y'all see him.
Yep.
He's got the look. That's Santa Claus right here, y'all. Ho ho ho! We're talking about Halloween, but we gotta throw that in there too.
Yep.
So
Yep.
get on there and sign up for those if y'all are interested.
Yeah, real. And don't forget to go check out Willie's YouTube page, Texas, and his TikTok, Texas and Beyond, for some interesting adventures.
Hey, every couple weeks I throw another video out there. Still working on Greece. A lot of videos from Greece.
Oh yeah. So, all right, keep it real and keep it rolling.
Thank y'all for riding with us. Oh, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Yes, happy Halloween. That's it, boys. That's it. That's a wrap.
Keeps moving, but